So actually, we are live now.
All right.
Who just ran away?
What say?
Somebody just ran away.
She'll come back.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just the network.
Okay.
Okay, so we are live now. So hello okay, Grenade.
Okay, grenade.
Hello.
Yeah,
Is my audio better now?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
normal.
it is.
That's good.
Okay, so okay, so we are going to start now, and I don't know if you guys also have the comment section. You could also see all the comments that will be running through.
Private
So I like
chat.
so to start, I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you for making today possible. I know it took us a while, a lot of planning, a lot of being like, I can't do it, but finally we are all here. So before we start, to all the people who have tuned in, I'd like to say a very big thank you. If you could share the links to your other networks to let them come in to join. I don't know if you guys can hear the echoing, but
Yeah, there's a little bit of glitch.
I don't know who it is from. But yeah, to make it easier, if you're not talking, you could mute yourself, and when it's time for you to talk, you could just unmute yourself just for the issue of the coin. Mana, if it's is it possible to mute yourself? Okay, I think now it's good. Okay, awesome. So before we start, we'll start with Mana. Can you mute yourself? Okay, so before we start, we will start with an introduction. So I'm Barbara Borgia. I'll be the host of today's session, which is titled Adulting with a Degree in Engineering. So one thing all of us have in common is like we either hold a BSc in civil engineering or we plan to hold a BSc in civil engineering. And 5 years ago, like we all met, we didn't know our fate, we didn't know how life is going to be like. But we passed through and we made it, and we are here today just to give back, to share what we've learned along the journey, to share our experiences before school, and how life has been for us. So to set the mood of this conversation, I have a question for all of us. I'd like you to share with us your favorite moment back in school and also something you remember about anybody. The person could be here on the space or could be somewhere. So I'll give you guys time to think about it. So for that, I will start. And for those watching, like if you're a past student, like I also like you to share your experience in the chat section. And if you're still in school, you could just also tell us your experience. So for me, I think my fondest memory in school, I don't know if it was third year or second year, but we formed a study group. Like we all wanted to increase our grades. So I think it was me, Patricia, Adam, Godson, and Alice. And we used to meet at like Vodafone Cafe. And sometimes like we really didn't feel like going, but Patricia would pack us all of us in her car. And she took us to Vodafone Cafe. And I think for me, that was a really nice experience in school because at that moment, like we stopped doing the chew and pour and we started really enjoying the engineering. Because as we discussed with our mates and colleagues, we had a deeper understanding of the courses that we were taking. And I remember that road to the residence is called Mecca Road, right? The road that we have to walk is called Mecca Road.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
Mecca
Yes,
Road.
please.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
sometimes on
correct.
Mecca Road, we see the cars and like the things we learned in
Yeah, it's called
transportation
Mecca.
engineering will be like, oh, this is this, oh, this is this. And it was really so amazing because at that moment, we really started enjoying the civil we were doing. So for me, this is one of like my fondest memory back in KNUST. And one of the memories I remember of people, like I think I'll talk about Harry. Harry and I had this love hate relationship for each other. It was like
Hey,
always wanted to
person.
see who would outmean the other person. It's like we always say mean things to we always say mean things to each other. And I don't know where it started from. Wait,
Mm-hmm.
Harry, were you in S2 in Ogasco?
Nah, I was nasty.
Okay, I don't know where that drama came from, but I was like, we always wanted to
It's
outmini.
the Ogasco
Yes.
gay vibe.
I think so. But then
I think
you and
so.
I were cool, so I don't know what was between Harry and I. But yeah, it was nice. Now you look at it, you look back at it, and you realize that it was just good memories. And also because I'm the host, I'll talk about two people just for the monopoly of it, and I also talk about Patricia. Patricia, like I think you're still the most hardworking and positive person I've ever come across. Like it doesn't really matter like how life is going through, Patricia will show up and she'll do the work. And like he really had a lot of impact. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but you really had a lot of impact on my life. And I'd like to say thank you. I know like it's been a while we really talked, but I hope that like you're still the same Patricia we knew, and like I hope you keep on shining your light to the world.
At least from her Instagram there, I think she's still working hard. Last time I commented and told her that I can see that she's still the same, so she should not change. Really, from her Instagram there, at least
Oh
it
my
looks like
God.
Yeah. So now I don't know who is going to be next, but to make things easy, I'm just going to choose.
That's why I'm keeping the scarf so that I can in future I can auction it for a higher value.
So yeah, I'm going to choose. So and Bismarck and Ewekwa, you also have the opportunity to tell us your fondest memory still in school. So and about anybody. So this question is not just for the speakers, it's like for all of us here. So I'll choose the next person. I think I will choose Maxwell. What's your fondest memory and like who do you remember and what's
me. My
about them? Do
favorite
you
thing
remember?
is food. Even though we all like studying, my favorite thing is food, and I miss eating pizza with Frimpoma. Frimpoma used to be my pizza party, and we always had the best times when we had to go to. I think Splendor. That Splendor pizza was the best. Really, that place was cool, and uh, I haven't had that here, so that's the thing. That's why I think I'm really missing it.
Okay.
China hasn't given me any pizza that's better than Splendor Pizza, so I'm still missing that a lot. That's my memory.
And about who do you remember and like what about them? Please, somebody said talk about Ngozi. That's a popular request.
Hey, 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 people have been,
Ngozi, hey.
let's be over here too. No, please, no. No mafia like that, please.
But don't
No
mind it. Like, so who do you
international
remember? And what
support.
about the person do you remember? So yeah.
Ah, someone else take the floor. Me, I'm not talking about Ngozi.
Okay. So you can mention anybody who you want to go next. So
Harry, you're always quiet. Come out. I think you've
I
been
was
done
I was hoping to
publicly.
go last. I was hoping to go last,
Nah. We
but
know you. Come.
okay, sure. Well, I, you guys know me. I always liked fun. I like to have fun in school. So yeah, I have a lot of like fun memories from uni. Hey, sorry, yeah, from uni, but like I can say I had like cool friends like Randy. I had cool friends like Peter David. I don't know if you guys remember Peter David. Yeah.
of course, my boyfriend.
Yes. Yes. So I had cool friends like Randy, Peter David, and there was Kojo Kubi. I don't know if you guys remember Kojo Kubi. He
Yeah,
was
he's
in
top.
like first and
Oh
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I had
And
I
Peter,
like
Kojo Kumi and Peter.
yes. Like we're like a gang. So like yeah, it was really cool. And Barbara and I used to like walk hand in hand from like class to like the hall and everything. It was fun. It was really fun. It was really fun. Yeah.
Hey.
You know what's cool? You know what's cool? Yeah, you know what's cool. But I did not like learning. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't like learning at all. So I till I actually started coding, learning was not one of my what do you call it? Like my forte, like my strength at all. But like yeah, right now I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
This Dinie.
Cloud, the cloud engineer, the cloud. Take us to the cloud.
I learned a lot. Daniel was part of my coding journey. He knows he's part of my coding journey. We met in when one
Cause you.
telecom company together called Netis when civil slash telecom company together called Netis, and I had like just started coding and everything. Daniel came. He had a whole lot of like learning materials for coding and everything, and he like what the course and materials Daniel gave me actually like put me on a different coding level. Like it shot me up. So
Thank you, Daniel.
thank you, Daniel. Yeah. So Daniel, you are next. You know I'm going to choose you, so you are next.
Okay. Well, who can forget the three wise men? The three wise men always made like coming to see. It wasn't even about coming to learn, no. It was just coming to meet them at the CISA lab with their arguments and what's laugh, telling you stories. It was always like key soap concert party. Like we were just waiting for the next episode. And also another memory was was it Dr. No? Financial manager. Financier. Financier. Yeah, that was Dr. No. Yes. When they were doing presentation, they asked him that what did he do as part of the group? He said he was the financier. He, he became his name. So that was some fond memories back then. So Bennett, tell us.
Okay, so I don't know if we all remember, is it third year or fourth year, we had to do an industrial attachment.
Yeah.
And and most of us wanted to do with the road inventory because we heard that they were going to give us some money. Around that time, it was between 1,000 and 1,005.
Oh,
And some of us, I mean, I'm a co, I like money. So I decided to join. Lo and behold, Mr. Akwa was the
oh,
coordinator for that particular road inventory project. And honestly, as soon as we realized that Aqua was the one coming, most of us realized that we weren't going to get any money. And true to his words, he said that we are doing it for learning's sake. And as such, we are not going to be paid any money. So those of us who had learns elsewhere, we just quickly had to make some
ah,
arrangements and then
we
leave.
boys.
But for me, I didn't have any options, so I had to stay. That wasn't an interesting one. It was sad, but then looking back, like I just whenever I think about it, I just laugh. And I also remember our group meetings at Frimpome's place at Shepherd's Hill. I stayed back on campus. Anytime I pass there, I just look up and I'm like, Frimpoma, Papa. Like almost all the time. We were in her room, we were eating, we were learning. And I always felt pity for her roommate Esther, but we had no choice. We had to learn. And so at some point, like the room was like a civil annex. Everyone comes there. And once you go to performance place, there's always food. So I have a sad and an interesting thing to say back in the day. I would choose Patricia Hudada. Patricia, I choose you.
Oh my God. Talking about that, I remember first year coming to school. I didn't know anybody because I know that at least some people were from the same school and things like that. So for me, I just had to be willing to be friendly and open up to people. I realized that it's not so, it doesn't happen easily. I mean, it has to take time. People have to be around you for a little bit to be sure who you are getting to. So my first year experience, I'll never forget. Is this CED? That drawing that we used to do on
Rapidograph.
Fridays and then bring it back on Monday. I mean, that drawing would take the whole weekend. And we used to really crash at like Jim Katako's place in Rapport. So there was Bene, there was myself, there was Frimpoma. Sometimes Maxwell would pass through. and there was this one other guy. I've forgotten his name now. He's Sam. Is it Sam?
Is it Jim?
No, not Jim. It was this other guy.
Ralph.
Not Ralph.
Ralph
This other guy.
Mills,
Also
Nana
cool.
Biafi,
Um, he didn't even finish with us. I mean, he was in our class, but he didn't finish with us. I've just really forgotten his name. I mean, we had such closeness and such togetherness in first year, even though sometimes we don't get the work done. We are all together and it's a
Was
big
it social?
mess and all that. And I also really remember the times where there was this particular soup that my mom used to give me. She used to give me a bunu bunu, and then she would say she got it from, I think her grandma sent her food or something. And that soup, oh my God, till today, I've not gotten any soup close to that. I'm just looking for food to deliver me some of that soup right now because I've not forgotten. It was so good. So good. God. Hey! Where's Frimpoma? She should be here. She should listen to all the things we are saying. Because when it comes to food, dear. Hey, Frimpoma.
Yeah, Frimpoma, we should all contribute and open a restaurant for her.
Hey!
Charlie, that girl doesn't disappoint
She
me.
held voice down for a long time. She held voice down very well. Like, we should all
Yeah.
contribute and open a restaurant for her.
Hey! And I used to
Doesn't
remember
disappoint
Caesar
me.
Lab moments. I mean, the times where GQ and the three wise men will make a lot of noise and you can't focus on what you are studying and you just have to sit down and look at them and join in the laughter or something. I mean, all these memories, like all these good times. And the when I really felt sad was when we wrapped everything up with our defense, and then at that point you know that you are exiting and you are done with whatever thing you came to do and it's time to move on. So well, this is just a little that I have to say for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Like time is actually, I don't know, as we're having fun, like time is actually also moving fast.
That
So
one.
for some of the suggestions, I'll have to unfortunately tell you to wrap up so that we could have an interesting conversation. So before we go, I'm going to give the people who are still in school to tell us like some interesting memories. You could, if your network is bad, you could actually leave it as a comment in the comment section and we will see it. So I also would like for now just tell us one of your interesting moments in school, and you could also about somebody you remember who's been nice to you, has been mean to you. You could share your experience. So I'll start with Bismarck. Bismarck, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Okay, so what I miss about school is our trip to Mampong
Yeah, what?
with Reverend Aqua.
Example.
Where we had to walk about 5 kilometers. Our trip to Mampong with Reverend Aqua and his quarter sheets and everything.
He
When we
still
went to
does
Mampong, we
quarter
had to
sheets.
walk about 5 kilometers. Yeah, we still do quarter sheets. We have to walk about 5 kilometers. Finding rocks, they part of faults, checking sedimentary rocks. Like, it was actually fun, but it was hectic. Very, very hectic. And I also miss CD.
Badger
Like the
place.
stress that we went through just last week.
Photoclass feels spouse and then
The stress we went through just to complete the CD. It wasn't easy. But after doing CD, I think I'm a full engineer now. Because what the engineers go through wasn't
Nigga, I don't feel
easy
like
at
a full
all.
engineer. Oh. Challenge.
Yeah. Well, CD is the whole course on its own.
hey, CD.
That's true. That's true. So,
It wasn't easy
Irekwa,
at all. And but
I don't know if you
we are
want to
still
tell us
forced.
your experience. Oh, sorry,
We are
Bismarck, you're
going
not
to.
done. Sorry, Bismarck, are you done?
Well,
Okay.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
So,
I think
Irekwa,
what
yes, please.
I think what I can say is the field work where we get to go and stand in the scorching sun, surveying. Yeah, basically. I think. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you. We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
All right, thank you. And Mami Fua, I don't know if she's
Okay, yes. The field work, then Reverend Aqua.
okay. So, Erika, like your network is really bad. So if you could just leave your suggestion in the comment section, then I'll read it, and that'll be really great. And Mami Fua, I don't know if you can hear us or if you are still here. But if not, you could just you could leave it in the comment section. I'm going to read.
Hello, can you please hear me?
Yeah, awesome. Yes, we can. I can hear you. Mamifa, we can hear you.
My reception here is not very good, but then I'm hoping that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. So, Mamifa, to make things faster, you could just leave it in the comment section and I'll read it as the conversation goes by. So now we are going to really start the conversation. So for all those who are joining, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, could you kindly subscribe and like and also share this video with other people so we could have an interesting and very fun conversation? So to start with, we are going to do a brief introduction. So the first part was just to set the tone for the conversation. So I'd just like you to introduce yourself, and as you're introducing yourself, you just give us a timeline, 5 years after school. So we're all done in 2016. So just tell us where you've been. You don't have to go really deep into detail. So it could be like, so after school, I did national service, I went here, I did this, I did that, just for us to all know like where we've been 5 years after school. And then the people who've joined, if you have any questions, you could leave it in the comment section. And when it's time for the questions, I could just read it and we could answer. So just like how we did before, I'll mention somebody. When the person is done, the person will just mention the next person to take over. So, Patricia, I'll start with you. Where are you now? And can you tell us the timeline, 5 years from school till now? Like, how has it progressed for you?
Okay, 2016 was end of BSc civil engineering, graduation in I think June, and then thereafter was national service. That was spanning between 2016 to 2017, and then 2017 through to 2019. I did a master's. I did a second degree in environmental engineering in the UK. So that was between 2017 to 2019. I mean, it was a master's for a year, but I got back to Ghana in 2019. And so from 2019 to from 2019 to 2020 was more projects, more wash projects for me. And then from 2020 to 2021, I did international projects. And then from 2021, in August, I started another program leading to a PhD. I started in August 2021, and then I'm still in the process now. So that is how I've progressed from after graduation till now.
Baba, you're muted.
So I just want to summarize it. So in summary, after school, you did a master's, then
Yeah.
you worked on wash projects, and you went back to school for a PhD.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank
that's
you.
how.
So you could mention who next you want to go after you.
Okay, Harry.
You
Our
know,
cloud engineer.
I always want to go last, but then I'm almost always second or third. All right, cool.
Harry, yes.
So, all right, so 2016 we completed, did National Service at Environmental Protection Agency (EPA). I was a biogas engineer, and then I worked at Nexus. It's a telecom company slash civil company. I worked with Daniel and Randy before Daniel. Yeah, and I worked there for like I think a year, and then I joined another company and it was mostly private contracts and everything. So I worked at that company for like 6 months, and then I finally joined another civil company. So like I've been in companies, like a lot of companies, and I finally joined another civil company. Africa Energy, and then we were into fiber duct installation. We installed fiber ducts from Akosombo, from Tema to Akosombo was a 90-kilometer stretch. So I was there till like January 2020. So that was my last civil job till 2020, and I decided I wanted to be fully into. I wanted to switch fully into cloud engineering because I was already a freelance web developer while I was doing the civil engineering. So I was like a freelance developer on the side, right? So I wanted to like switch fully into tech. So
Sorry, Harry,
then,
can you just raise your voice a bit?
oh, okay, cool. Sorry, hold on. Is it okay? Is it cool?
Benedicta, is it okay for you now?
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it cool? All right, cool.
Mm.
Yeah, so my last civil project was like in January 2022, like just this January, and I wanted to switch fully into tech, right? So I went into Azubi Africa. I was in Azubi Africa, and then I started learning about the cloud, and then I became an AWS cloud practitioner. That was like 2 months ago or three. Yeah,
Wow.
2 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
level.
months ago, and I started learning cloud DevOps at Udacity, and then I'm currently so I can say I'm currently an AWS cloud practitioner, and used to becoming a solutions architect, and then the DevOps, but primarily I'm just a cloud engineer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Harry giving us key. So Harry, like as the conversation goes by, like we talk deep into this, like we go more into details how
Okay.
you transferred from being a civil engineer to a cloud engineer to a DevOps. What's the last thing that you are going to be? Something architecture or technician. What's the last?
Solutions architect.
What's the last one?
Solutions architect.
Installation architect. So
Yeah,
we'll
so
delve deep into it.
I'm about to write that certification. I'll write it this month. So
Okay, awesome, awesome.
yeah.
So thank you very much. Sky, we are grateful
And
for.
you're welcome.
Hello, Sky. Hey,
Yo,
what's
my
up?
people, what's up, bro? Like,
Yeah.
Charlie, long
So
sorry,
time,
sorry
long
for
time.
being late. Hi to everyone. Sorry.
okay, that's okay. So just to let you know so right now we are trying to give a brief background of like where we are 5 years after school. So somebody will tell like so just a timeline, and whoever finishes talking will just pass the baton to somebody else. We just mention the person's name. So Harry just finished. So Harry, who do you pass the baton to?
Okay, I think Benedicta.
Okay. So Bene, over to you.
Yeah, so after hello Sky. After after graduation in 2016, I did we all did 1 year of national service. I did mine on campus with Prof. Wama. I was his teaching assistant for a year, and then after that, I did my master's on campus K University in water supply and environmental sanitation, and I completed that in 2019. And before I completed, I think 2 or 3 months before I completed, I started looking around for a job. So God being so good, I uh, some of our mates were already working where I am now. So I talked to them, and then there was an opportunity. So as soon as I finished school, I went for an interview and I got hired. So I'm with a consulting firm, a wash consulting firm. That's where I have been from 2019, November 2019 till now. So
Wow.
basically, that's what it's been for me in the past 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
That's amazing.
I'll pass the baton to Maxwell.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so for me, it's also simple, just like people. I did service as a teaching assistant on campus. And just after that, I came to China for masters. Masters in China is 3 years, so finished the masters, and now I'm in my second year doing PhD. So it's been school, school, school all along for me. I'm still a student, so
Please, you're not a student. We are researchers now. We are no longer students. Please, let's set the
yes, yes. We don't go
let's
to
set.
class anymore. We
We
don't
are
go
not
to class.
students. No
Certainly,
students, please.
certainly. I don't even think I can even sit in a classroom anymore as a student. So I understand. We are researching. We are researchers now. So
Who do you
that's
pass
my,
it on to?
and I've been here for 5 years. For the whole 5 years. From here we go to Grenade. Daniel.
Oh, okay, okay. So 2016, I did my service with Huawei, which is a telecom company. Then after Huawei, I went to civil, did with a mining company for 8 months. Then I realized that I can't kill myself, so I resigned. Oh, yeah, I resigned. I was contemplating the stress and the reward was not at par, so I resigned. Then
Can't
I
kill
was
myself.
unemployed for about 2 months, but I was freelancing, coding, and other stuff. Then I got employed into another civil company. Did another 8 months. It was like deep down, I felt the civil was not my calling, but I liked it, but I felt it was not my calling. So after another 8 months, I resigned. Then an opportunity came at Nexus, which is a telecom company. So I thought maybe this is a different telecom. So I went there, and well, working with them was also fun till I also got to the money part, and it was terrible because we are working for money. So why should my money be a problem? So I also resigned after 7 months, and I went on a break. Like I took a personal break, no work, nothing. I was just, should I say, self-reflection. Yeah. Then I got an opportunity to, by recommendation, actually. How I got my current job was through, I did magic to somebody on campus, and
Hey.
the person remember. Yes, I did magic to somebody on campus, and the person remind, like, when the opportunity came, the person remembered that like I was a civil engineer. So he reached out to me and asked me if I was interested. I was like, okay, cool. So then I went there and like instantaneously told me when I could start, and I said immediately. So that's where I've been for the past 2 years. I'm in my third year now. So that's Dread Masters, and
Oh, okay.
it's been fun because this is this is not the civil I know, but then this is the civil I'm applying, and the traveling also helps. So that's my journey, jumping from company. And so I'll go to who else? Sky, yeah, Sky.
Yo, man, fantastic story, Tali. You guys really try. Basically for me, I mean, after finishing 2016, like everyone, I did a bit of service with MPA, so that was more petroleum. But then after that, I went back into renewable energy and civil because I always liked that part, the renewable energy thing. So I did that a bit, and I was doing normal like project management for a contractor, and then I had the opportunity to go do my master's. So I was more specializing in sustainable infrastructure, so like everything infrastructure, but more sustainable. And then after that, I did a bit of sustainability consultancy, and then I started working with a startup, and that's when I knew that I didn't want to be in research or silver anymore. And now I just finished my MBA, and I'm also doing consultancy with the company now. So yeah, that's basically my story.
Okay, awesome. I don't know if we've had everybody sharing their story. So like yeah, I think we have like I'll be the last person. So just like everybody, like after school, like I stayed in the university for my national service. Then afterwards I moved to France for my master's, and then I jumped to Canada for my PhD. So just like Maxwell, it's just been school for me. But the good thing with like for France, I did an internship, so I got a bit of working experience, not necessarily working experience, but it was still in research, it was still in academia. So That's been my story. So the next question I'm going to ask like maybe three questions, and afterwards I will try to take the questions from the comment section. So if you have any questions, those watching, just leave it in the comment section, and after these questions I'm going to take it. So one thing, well, I think even for me, one of the things I've always had in mind was our educational system has been lacking. So this would be like two questions in one for all of you here. What do you think of our educational system, especially those people who got the opportunity to study abroad? Is our educational system as bad as we've made it seem, or like people have made it seem? Do we think we were prepared enough for further studies abroad? And the second thing is like most of the time in school, like we are always told like study hard, study hard, study hard. How has like your degree played a role in where you are? Let's say like after school, like all the opportunities you got. Do you think like what you graduated with played a role, or it was insignificant? So just like the issue of the baton I'm going to choose, then once you're done, you just pick somebody. So Sky, I will start with you with these two questions. What are your thoughts on that?
With regards to our educational system, I think that it's not as bad as I used to think. Like, before leaving, I used to think that, like, yeah, like too much theory. But like, at least from the Italian perspective, they also like theory, very much roots learning and stuff like that, and memorization and a lot of that. I think one thing that is different is probably oral exams where you're supposed to like talk, like have an exam and your professor is asking you questions and you're supposed to tell him the answers, which is way different from what we are used to. So I struggled with that a lot. And also here they have like you write exams like three times. You have three chances. But for us, we write once. So me, when I write exams here once, I'm okay with my grade. But here, everybody wants to be perfect. So they are hoping for like 30 or 29, which is like the perfect one. So that was something different. So I think in terms of our educational system and quality, I don't think it's really bad or something like that. Like it actually gives you a good foundation. But maybe when you're immersed in their style, it's like how they do it is different. But there's an underlining like theory part and everything like that. And then the second part to the question would be like for me personally, because I knew like when I came that I didn't want to stay much in civil. My civil engineering bachelor has become a hindrance because I want to work more with business, like with startups, and they look at your resume and you're like, you have a civil engineering bachelor. Like, how, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, what are you bringing? Like, are you a technical person? So for me, I had to build it through experience. So for me, it's been a hindrance. But one thing I think they do not understand is like all the basic stuff we learned in terms of problem solving and how we approach it in a structured way. It's so valuable in a startup world. But yeah, that's just my take. So I'll pass it over to Patricia.
Okay, thank you for that heads up, Sky. I feel like our educational system, however it is, I've moved between countries a lot. From the US, from
Patricia,
the
I just realized your accents have moved a lot. So thanks for bringing it up. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention as we started. Those who studied abroad, please like bring the accents. It's very important. Like we need to show them that we are
Please,
outside. So
there's
thank you
no
right,
for
asset
they're
in
outside.
China.
All right, okay.
There's no asset in China.
So, um, this where I have gotten to right now, we've only gained access to these spaces because of everything that we have brought along with us. So, our educational system, where we started from, has gotten us here. Just that in every system, there is no system that is 100%. Some systems are better than others, but there is no system that is 100%. Education in Ghana would you'd do more theoretical studies, more rote learning, but you realize that when you bring that kind of way of doing things here, you may have to learn quickly that for this side, you are actually not going to be more operational with the way you know what you've been taught in class. You're supposed to be applying. There's more application, and then they want to see the problem solving behind the knowledge they have given you. So what we get from Ghana is knowing how to study and keep it in your head. I mean, whether you understand it or not, if you understand, that's a good thing. But if you do not understand, you realize that in this part, you have to understand to apply. So it is not just rote. Now you do the rote, you just make sure that you're not just nodding your head in class, because then you will be giving a very big application question, and then your answer would show whether you understood or you didn't understand. So I really had a big shock when the first assignment that I ever did in Britain. Oh my God. It was an assignment on engineering the environment. So they gave us a picture, and then we were supposed to um, actually get design a disease or something around that environmental situation we were given. I mean, if you see the mark I got a 5 out of 10. I was so disappointed. I'm like, I thought I put everything, I thought I put my all in it. And then in the comment section, when you get your script, they write all the comments on it, and then you can actually have a sit down conversation with the professor and then ask them what really went wrong or what you could do better next time. And then to my surprise, they wanted to see practicality. I mean, they wanted to see how I am applying the knowledge. I mean, the knowledge was there. I mean, I could score a 10 out of 10 if it was in Ghana, for example. But they didn't want to see that. They wanted to see that you're truly going to be able to apply, and you're truly going to be able to get results. You're going to be solution oriented, not just all this, I've taken it and I've seen it and I know it. So that is the difference when it comes to our education system and then being out here. So I feel like it helps you, and then it gets to a point it doesn't help you. You have to adjust, and you have to learn how to understand to solve problems. They want to see that. I mean, so that is what I would say about our educational system. And I don't know whether there was any other question you wanted on that, or we have to go back and
No, I
everybody
think
has to.
I don't know if you asked, but like, how did your grades, like, like we make a very big fuss about like your grades are important, that
Mhm.
your what you graduated with,
Okay.
um, prevent you from accessing certain opportunities or not, and how important is like your grade like at the school.
Okay, so for me, I am a special case because I didn't graduate with a first class. I didn't graduate with a second class upper. I graduated with a second class lower. I was almost entering an upper. And then at the time, so my mom usually looks at my report cards and everything. So at the time, she made me feel like I can't do anything with what I have. So for me, right from the beginning, right from the end of graduation, with what I had, I said to myself, I'm just going to pull a big surprise. So it was really in my mind. Whatever I wanted to achieve or get, it was mindset. It was all mindset. Because you see, you meet people who tell you that you can't enter here, you can't go here, just because of your GPA or your how do you call it, CWA or whatever it is. You can't go here. But you realize that aside your results or your GPA or your CWA, people are looking for value systems. So at the beginning of the conversation, Barbara was saying, "Oh, Patricia is hardworking. She's this, she's that." I mean, I feel like when people see me, they readily, okay, when you're applying for school outside, people do not see you before they admit you. But you realize that every little activity you have done that you have put on your CV, your involvement with social work, your involvement with maybe projects here and there, gives people a sense that you're somebody who is ready to learn and somebody who will do well when you're given an opportunity. So, well, starting was not really rosy for me. I had to really fight. It was a big fight for me. Fighting, I was able to get a full funding for Britain. I mean, they paid all my school fees, which was like £20,500. That was 1 year's program. And the only way I got into Loughborough was because of a number of factors. So, whoever, you need a sponsor. So, that's one thing I want to talk about. A sponsor in this case is somebody who is in the room who speaks on your behalf. So someone who says, I know Patricia, give her the opportunity, she can do it. I'm just trying to plug in. I know Patricia, give her all the opportunity and guide her and she can do it. Keep an eye on her and make sure that she's doing what she has to do and she'll make it. So somebody recommending you is a big thing. So we are in tech and we are 200 and something in class. and you realize that people know us for some. I don't know how they get to know whose attitude is good or who is what. I don't really understand that, but they're able to tell. Like our professors and things are able to tell that this person, I mean, she can be hardworking. This person, she has a good attitude towards work. So let's bring her in. So you get somebody to recommend you and say, give her that funding. She can actually go for it. And the way you write your statement of purpose.
Patricia, I'm sorry, but it's like we have to move on. We'll come back to this topic, but like,
Right.
yeah. So just pass the baton to somebody else, and we'll come back to all these things. But yeah.
Okay, so Harry is. I'm always going to give it to Harry. Like,
So cloud engineer, you know that when Patricia goes, is the cloud engineer. Thank you, Patricia. Cloud engineer, we are waiting for you.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah,
cloud engineer.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Harry, before you go, like I'd like to
Mhm.
say thank you to the civil class of 2016. I can see like a lot of you are here and you are giving us funds. We are grateful that you are here to support us. Thank you. So Harry, now take the floor.
Yeah, I was just about saying, I can see the comments and everything. Randy, I see you. All right, so for me personally, I did not like the Ghanaian education system, like at all, and I still do not like it because, like, it's yeah, basically it's yeah. As Sky was saying, it's more or less like theory, but at least there should be some sort of practical that goes with it. I know we had lot of some sort of lab sessions and everything, but to me it was not interesting. It was not interesting at all. I remember first year we used to go to we had a Friday we had this full practical on Friday 6 to 6, and it was so boring. It was not interesting. I mean, you go to class 6, then you close at 6, and between 4 to 6 p.m. we had like I think it was 7 year join or something. I've forgotten, and then you'd stay in class for like 6 to 4 p.m. and then from 4 to 6 you are doing civil engineering. It was not like it was not cool at all. So for me, the Ghanaian education system is poor. But I've realized that you'd have to like go the extra mile because you cannot just put it on the education system in Ghana. Like it's not, the Ghanaian education system is not cool, so you are just going to like be in it like that. You are not going to like go the extra mile. You're not going to go to. I've realized that there are a lot of other sources like YouTube and other places that you can actually go there to learn more. So you just don't have to like say, oh, the Ghanaian education system is poor, the Ghanaian education system is not good, so you are just not going to like learn and everything. You know, because I personally have not been to the abroad unis and everything. I have just been learning here. So after school, I've already mentioned like I started learning other stuff that were not primarily civil engineering. So I realized even in Ghana, the computer science students in Ghana are saying like the education system is poor because what they want to learn and what they need to learn, they are not learning it. So basically, they're like learning from other sources like YouTube and Free Code Cup and everything. I'm mostly going to base my sources on like coding, more of coding than civil engineering. So yeah, you guys understand me. So all I'm trying to say is you have to go the extra mile. Just because the education system is poor does not mean you do not have to go the extra mile. Yeah. So that's all for me.
Who are you giving the baton to?
I think Maxwell.
Okay. Hello, hello. Yeah, so for me, I think the education system, mine is the opposite of Harry. Okay, maybe the execution going from 6 to 6, and then that class particularly we were standing. That class it was bad. It was really bad. I, Nobody liked it. I can't say I like that class either. But the core things that we were taught were not they were very useful when I came here. Like making sure you understand the usual theories and other things. At least for further, like going further in masters and PhD, they have been very useful. Uh, Making sure you, I don't know, but so far everything I have learned in my masters, especially in my masters, which was just after BSc was it was UMEP was really easy. All the mechanics courses, you know how we hate mechanics, but it was compared to the BSc introduction, it was much better. And well, for me, I think what we did in the BSc really helped, and maybe they should find a way to execute it better so that it's not so stressful. Like you come and stand there the whole time. Like it was really annoying that class, Harry. Nobody liked that class. We all hated it. It was bad. But also, okay, something like defense and all those confrontation stuff that we did. When I came here, I realized a lot of people don't know how to communicate when they have to speak to the public. It was a big problem for different nations, like people from so many different places. They don't know how to stand in front of people and make any presentation. They they shiver. They will be the whole thing is a mess. But the Ghanaians were always good. Like at least even if they weren't exceptional, they were very good. Like compared to the others, oh, they were way above. So I guess all the tough times that Akwa and his people put us through, they also toughen us up for some part of it. So I don't know which branch that you branch to that those public speaking stuff would be beneficial, but all of it wasn't zero. Like it was really not useless, especially for those theories when you want to further your studies. Mechanics, you'd benefit from those mechanics courses later. Just remembering that you have to, oh, this was how we did this and that. And of course, there's always YouTube to help you, but it was okay. It was okay. For me, going further with school, it was okay. But oh yes, I don't know how masters in Ghana was like for Benin, but um, writing papers. That's one thing that the people in Winneba, that's university there, their TAs were really good. We had some guys here who learned. I don't know whether he learned it during his TA period or whether he learned it during his BSc time, but writing papers and reading papers and ending up writing papers from there. I didn't learn anything about that, and I think that's a lot of the Ghanaians here. I'm not alone. I don't think I'm alone in this. But a lot of the Ghanaians here are not so well prepared for that when they come here, and we learn it here. But if maybe there could be some changes in that direction too, I think that would be good, especially for people who go and work as TAs instead of making us just doing some other kind of labor. We could be helping with writing papers and academic stuff, like those things that prepare you for actually being lecturers or something like that. Those things we could work on that kind of stuff to improve them on that side. I think Benin hasn't spoken, right? So the
Yeah,
next thing,
Benny.
yeah, Benedicta.
And Benedictine.
Okay, it's good that I didn't start this batch of answering because I'm sure if I had started, I would have just floored our educational system here. But listening to my
No, no,
brothers
Bene.
and
No,
sisters
Bene. We need
outside,
you to be Bene. We need you to be as honest as possible. If you think our educational system is whack, please tell
I'll
us. No, no,
I'll have to
because
tone it down a bit.
no, because one thing you should realize is our experiences are different. So like just
Yeah.
be as honest as you can. Like don't let anybody's because
Well, I was still
once you go opposite to what you believe in, some people who feel that this is how they feel, they'll feel that they're alone. So the whole idea of this conversation is for people to know that things can be true and it's okay like to feel different. So please, like if you please let us know your honest opinion. Thank you.
okay. I'm just trying to say I would have said that the masters I did here was very, very stressful. But yeah, I'll still tone it down because you realize that all the trainings that we go through here, even BSc, we're complaining. Masters, we were doing the block system. So for that one, you do a course for maybe 2 weeks, depending on the volume of the course. And then the following, after that 2 weeks, you are writing an exam. So it was that stressful. When you are lucky and the volume of a course is like 3 weeks at least, you know that in the next 3 weeks you have an exam. But if it's just a week or 2 weeks, it's like you are always on your toes. You have to be learning for an exam and all that. And it wasn't easy. Like it's very stressful. I became so dark because you're having less sleep, you have to learn. Like seriously, I was looking very ugly when I was doing my masters. But listening to you guys, like going through all those defense sort of put you a step higher above your peers. It means that our educational system is not so flawed like we think. So that's a good thing to hear. And transitioning from the classroom to the workplace is quite different. Like they are on opposite sides. Living in an environment to a different environment, you have to adapt and all that. And all I would say is that I get people saying, I want to go outside, do my master's, I want to go out, do my PhD. If it doesn't happen, considering that our educational system is not so flawed, if you get it, fine. If you don't get it, it's not so bad if you start your master's here. So I would say that someone was asking in the comment section where I did my master's. I did it in Care University, water supply and environmental sanitation. So anyone who wants to venture into that can apply there. It's still running. So basically, that's what I would say. I have actually toned my staff down. So that's all I would say. I'll just pass the baton to Daniel. Yeah.
Daniel, we can't hear you. You are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say for the education system, I would say for our system, it gives us a good foundation because speaking with friends who have traveled outside and other interactions, it makes you understand that like because of the way they make us cram and they are not really about how best you understand it, but how best you can answer the questions. We tend to cram in a lot of information that's more or less sometimes are not useful. So when you get to a place where you need less information and more application, that one you are able to cram in the useful information and the application comes to you. Like if you really understand it, the application comes to you naturally. So I actually think it gives it's not the best. It's actually I would say it's like a five, yeah, a 5 out of 10 because more of the time is about how you can answer their questions. And once you are able to answer the question to them, they don't know if you chew and poured or like once you be able to replicate it on paper, that means you understand and the course goes on. Even though if you go to your academic supervisors and all, the kind of feedback you get, it's not like the kind of feedback like my friends in like foreign universities they kind of do. You can walk to like a lecturer, he gives you like maybe you get your script, you get a comment, so you are able to know that this and this is what is missing, so you're able to like in the next one you're able to improve. But here we just write midterms, we just write IAs, and that's it. Like nobody cares. Is either you the student, you try and see your own fellow students, or like Harry said, you go the extra mile. But I feel education is supposed to be to the understanding of the students, not it's not like you are preaching, you are teaching. So you coming to stand in front of a class and say whatever you want to say and just go about your daily activities like everybody understands it is very bad on our part of the world. So I would say it's a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay, so thank you, Grenade. I don't know if you've all spoken. If you've all spoken, I'm just going to give my suggestion and I'm going to go to the questions. Then, if we still have time, we'll continue with the discussion. So, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly do so. Kindly like this video. Kindly share to your other colleagues to join us. For me, like before I left Ghana, I always thought our educational system was whack. But just like my fellow colleagues have also said, for now, I don't believe our educational system is as bad as I thought it used to be. And one thing we all should realize is like for most of us who went abroad to study, we were able to get there because of a fully funded, we got a scholarship. That was what made it possible for us to do so. And the only way we got there was because of the educational system we had. So, like, in retrospect, when you think about it, if our educational system is that bad, like, why would somebody give you, a stranger, money to come and study in the country? So, like, for me, that was the first thing I realized. It took a while for me to realize it. And studying in France was really hard for me. And it wasn't because our educational system was bad, it was because our educational system was different for somebody who like, and I think that was something Harry always used to say, that I didn't know anything apart from my books. As in the beginning, I said that we always had this on mean. So like for me, if it came like, I always used to say like, if it came to books, I'm your girl. But like I sit in the classroom and like I don't understand anything. Like it was a new experience to me. And it wasn't because our educational system was bad, it was because our educational system was different. And I think that was one thing Maxwell mentioned. Like in France, the educational system is more research based. Ours is more, we always say we are theory, but like looking at the French educational system, our educational system prepared us to be engineers. Like so when we are done, we could actually go out to work as engineers. But the French system prepares you to go into academia. So you have to read papers and understand. Like you have to think and understand. And that was like really new to me because I never used a calculator during my masters. And like in Kenya, still like I was always to be the first person to give answers. Like I always had my calculator. You ask a question, pa 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 pa, I'll give you the answer on the calculator. And you go to the system where you don't use a calculator, like you're using the X, like what's the name? Engineering, math, differentiation, integration. Like, what business has civil engineer got to do with differentiation and integration? But yeah, like it was really hard for me. But like with time, we figured it out. And as Maxwell also said, like the presentation we do and all, it took me a while. Like I always thought our educational system was theory based, but one thing I also realized was we did a lot of practicals, but the issue was we always copied. Like, what's the name of that course that you go into the community? There was this course like you had to go into the community to propose solutions to come in.
CED,
But what was it?
See, the civil engineering design.
It
CED,
wasn't civil
CED.
engineering.
No, it was
Yeah,
It was another
civil
one.
engineering design.
No,
no,
it
it
was
was
another one.
something. It was
Was
It
it
wasn't civil
engineering
engineering. It was
development?
another one.
engineering in society. Engineering in
Not that
Engineering,
society.
one. There's
yeah,
also another
engineering
one
Engineering
called,
society.
society.
Yeah.
okay, maybe it's engineering society. I don't remember. Yeah, but I think it's engineering society. But instead of us doing the work, we will not do it. We'll go for the previous year, and we'll so it's like we blame the educational system, but like in retrospect, our educational system is really
Some
solid.
some people some people sit in their rooms and answer the questionnaires themselves.
Yeah, our educational system is really solid. We were just not taking advantage of it. And I'm sure now that I'm saying, like, when you think back, you realize the theory we had it. We did engineering society, we did civil engineering drawing, we had a lot of presentations, but we just were not putting in the work. And probably maybe also because the workload was so hard for, like, we were doing like six, like, where was the time? I remember I don't know if it was second year, but there was this year where like we were walking zombies. Like you just couldn't sleep. It was crazy. So I think our education system is good, but maybe it was just way too packed to like give us the opportunity to take full advantage of it. And the next point is, I think the next question is, how important has your grade played a role in your current situation? Like I think my grades did play a role in my current situation, like for all the opportunities I had. It wasn't just my grade, like so as Patricia mentioned, like I've also like in between like school and all those things, like I really have an active social life. I really do a lot of voluntary work. We were doing a lot of voluntary work since I was young. So that also really helped me. And like as I was even thinking about this conversation, I even remember like in school, Maxwell and I, we used to organize tutorials for our like the lower years. And most of these activities you do, you don't think it's important to like you have this opportunity and you have to explain like what you've been doing out of your academic life, and that's also really important. So in as much as school is important, you also should consider other things to show like, yeah, this is who you are. So now I'm going to, I don't know, I think we've all spoken. So Bismarck or the people who are on the call, if you have any questions you could ask. If not, I'm going to start with the questions from the comment section and we can take it from there. So let me start with the comments from the comment. Even if the comment is directed to somebody, if you also have any suggestions or you have any opinion on that, you could also do that. So the first question is, please, did you write the GRE? Yes, I did write a GRE, but I never used it. So I know, like, I don't know, but I think it's for all of us. But like, we before we started, we were like, okay, so to study abroad, you had to write the GRE, and ask your if your score is good. So I did write the GRE, but I never used it because I didn't want to go to the US. So if you want to write a GRE, it's very important to look at the school you want to go and see if it's a requirement. If it's not a requirement, there's really no need to write it. So I don't know if anybody has anything to say about this question. If not, we could go to the next question. Okay, Patricia.
Just gonna add. So for the GRE, some schools even in the US these days do not take GRE, especially if you're from Ghana, because over time they have some sort of records that show that there are people who score so high on the GRE, like from other countries like China and all those other places, but they are actually tweaking the system and their results that they how much output they have on their coursework and their total progress on what they come to the US to do is not full reflection of what their GRE says. So most schools, some schools, not all, some schools have actually scratched that GRE portion, especially even if you are from Ghana. So you may have to look into it and be sure. And sometimes you may ask for a waiver. So you have to, sometimes you have to go behind the scenes and do a little bit of work and ask your school, whoever is in charge of admissions and all that, and say, I have English proficiency, I have this, and I was a WASI, and this is it. Sometimes they even go back to ask you if you can show your results for English and all that. So what you realize that whatever you have done from the past actually leads you on, and sometimes you do not need to necessarily show a GRE score. So that's what I'll say.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
and
very.
also I want to add that China doesn't need GRE. It depends on the country. Well, GRE is mainly for US, but if you want to come to China, you don't need GRE.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we've sorted the GRE question. Now let's go to the next one. Please, can those with a lower average be considered for a scholarship in France? When it comes to scholarships, I do believe that we all can get access to scholarships, just like Patricia shared her story earlier on. It's just that if you have a lower, you have to put in an extra effort as compared to somebody who has a higher grade. And I think it's like it's the simple rule of life. The people who are winning always keeps winning because they've been able to show track records that once you give them the opportunity, they will show up and give you good results. But for other people, like you need to put in a lot of effort and to be able to be considered for a scholarship, maybe like your grades are not good, like your other documentations, how good are they? Like what is your life out of school? So I think with this question, I'll give Patricia because she wanted to talk about it. So I'll give Patricia like a chance to just share some thoughts on this. So Patricia.
Okay, some I've seen in the comment section someone asking if you have a lower average or whatever you graduated with doesn't look like it can take you somewhere. So you realize that in your when you look at your full transcript, they are actually looking at how you were progressing. And then you realize that with KNUSC, the system is such that, or the CWA system or the GPA system is such that the higher you go, the more difficult it is for you to like increase. The fact that the higher you go is difficult for you to increase doesn't mean that you are not getting higher grades, because there was a point in time in third year. I've seen that someone said that third year was mad. But third year, the first and second semester was when I had the fattest average. Like I had the first class average.
But you know why? We
Why?
had a study group.
We had a steady group. Okay. So like that was a time that I had a first class average, like at a point. And then it just kept so it shot my average up. But you realize that because the foundation was little weak, it shows up in your final. But when you're applying for a school, they look at you holistically. They don't just look at what you have for your final. So if they want to look, if Patricia can do well, they are looking at all my progress whilst I was in school, and they see that okay, she was making progress. She was really, really stretching, and she was really, really doing it. So we can give her the chance. So I feel like even if you feel like all hope is lost, just keep going. Just keep putting in just all your little efforts, and it shows. It actually shows what you can do when you're given the chance. So there's nothing to give up on. Where you start is not the end of it. You can always make little strides. And then admission committees, they have different criterions that they use to pick students. And they actually try to pick a wide range of students. They don't just pick the cream of the cream like that they're seeing. They actually open it up. And if you keep insisting, I already said that it was a fight. So you have to keep insisting and you have to keep um, doing a lot of back and forth. And sometimes your proactiveness, how you reach out to the admissions office, how you respond to your emails, how you ask questions. Sometimes they want to just give you opportunity because you seem ready, you seem to know what you want. So these are some of the things that got us here. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you, Patricia, and thank you for mentioning the projection, which is actually true. For most of the scholarships, it's your last 2 years that's quite important because it's assumed that your first and second year you are trying to find your feet, you are doing boyfriend, girlfriend things, like you are doing other things which are not like part of your schoolwork, like but like in your final years, like that's when like okay, you know you are going to finish. What are you doing? And just like Patricia, it was also the same for me. I think like for before I came to Care University, like as I already said, I've always been academically good, and my grades were never really important for me. To me, it was like if I knew it, that was okay. So it was like I can write an exam, whatever they give me was not really my business. But when I got to third year, I was like, okay, you say you're good, show it to me. So like we had to sit our asses down and like steady, and so your last 2 years is also really really quite important, so it's never too late, and it's everything. Your grades are not good, like show them like in other documents how good can you be. So I'll wrap up on that, and
What about recommendations?
they are all part, like as I said, like all your other do you want to talk about recommendations?
Yeah,
i
because
i, I feel recommendation are also quite very important, so
yeah, I for some of our other TA colleagues, I guess recommendations plays a part. Like some of our lecturers link them to reliable funding. Like their recommendation ensured that I was one of them. So Odai recommended me to this school that I'm in.
Who is that?
Could you please mute yourself, Bismarck? I don't know if it's Bismarck or Mamikwa. Like, could you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you. Yeah, Maxwell. Okay.
Odai recommended me to this school in here, Wuhan. And his recommendation really counts. After me, my year, I was the only one. For 2017, I was the only student who got here. But for 2018, no, 2018, there was no other student. 2019, I think he brought about um, six, seven, like a large number of TAs, all because of his recommendation. He actually came here for a conference and he brought their admission letters, like printed and everything with all their details and everything. It wasn't like they were bad. They were good enough to be TAs, but his recommendation made the process faster for those guys. Like that one was certain that, oh, and then so far it's been like for all I wasn't the first person. I came here, I met like five groups of people, like different years that he has been recommending, and they've been good. They are a good set of the outstanding students in this school from KNUST. And so far, because of that, even this year, um, we had a call with, like, okay, they are trying to set up more connections. Like the school has been so impressed with the recommendations and with the things the students have done that they want more KNUST students to come here. So recommendations also play a part in some places. So don't underestimate those things too. If you
Okay.
can get a teacher to say, "Oh, I can get you this," don't think he's lying. He's probably true. He can probably help a little.
Okay.
Work with
Um,
it and see what it goes.
okay, Sky, did you want to say something?
That's asking about Chinese.
No, no, I didn't want to add to, but I saw a question for me, so I was wondering when I would answer. So
Oh, okay.
when it's time, just let me know. I'll
Oh,
just
okay.
answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Maxwell, since you're already on the floor, we can just take it. So, how good is your Chinese, and what's your experience learning the language?
Chinese has been interesting. Chinese has been very, very interesting. My reason for learning the Chinese language was my motivation for it was very funny. As you know me, I like food. I came here, I was like, I was going to go and eat some Chinese food. You know how Ghana usual restaurant or chop bar is, and there was this kind of place that was more like a chop bar, not necessarily. By the way the food was displayed, you can point out the things you want. And for me, I was thinking like a Ghanaian. I should speak Chinese. Now you go back the thing, Masa cover for the I can speak very good Chinese actually. Don't provoke me. You will not understand anything. But basically, I went there. I was thinking the usual thing, mepe namwe, any namwe. I was pointing two different types of meat I wanted on my food. They ended up bringing me two separate bowls of noodles in soup. And that
Is it
was,
ramen?
yeah, ramen, but it was I wasn't ready for that. It was just me coming to eat, and they served me two plates because I pointed two different meats. And I was like, oh nah, I really need to learn their language so that I can understand them and at least communicate enough to buy food, because me, I like food. And that was my motivation to start learning right from 2017 till now. So my Chinese is fine. My Chinese is really fine.
Okay,
But you wouldn't understand. So Austin, stop asking. I don't speak any
okay.
Chinese.
So let's just a bit of commercial break. So I don't know, Bene, I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently Martin John had a crush on you for the entire 4 years. So after, it's not too late. I think maybe after this conversation, you could link up and see how it goes. So like, if you haven't yet subscribed, kindly do so. Kindly like and kindly share this link to other people to join in the conversation. So now let's go back to the questions. So this is the next question. So regarding the things that we learned in school, are you guys practicing them, or work is totally different from academics? Um, I I'll just talk something briefly before we continue. One thing I realize is the Ghanaian system assumes you should know things before you get into the workplace. And being here, that's one thing I've appreciated. You don't have to know it before you get into the workplace. The duty of the workplace to train you. So they offer trainings, and I think that's something that we lack back home. They just assume that because you're a civil engineer, you should be able to know how to prepare concrete. Because you're a civil engineer, like even if you know how to do it, it's the duty of the job to give you prior training before you start the work. And I think that's something that we should inculcate into the system. And I think that's also the reason why they keep bashing the educational system, because you're like, you're an electrical engineer, you can't fix this. That is not your job. Like, even if it's your job, like That is why you also, yeah, you're an institution, you should be able to offer training system. So I'll leave this to the people who entered into the industry. So over to you. Who's going to take this question? Okay, Grenade. Over to you.
Grenade, yo, yeah.
Okay, so um, for me, I'd say what you what you study in school is just a thin line between what you study in school and what you practice on the field. Because in, let's say, in a typical civil environment, um, you should know what is your C, how to get a C30 mixture, how to get, you should know those things. And mostly when you're fresh out of school, they put you in supervisory roles. And as a supervisor, you should know what is being done by the artisans, because the artisans sometimes they try to bully you and say, oh, sana, but it's not that. Like we try to tell you that any book any the baha. You understand? But a book na the baha, because the contract specifies that we need a C30 concrete. So that's your 248 won't give me a C30. Why should I allow you to do a 248 mixture? You understand? So it's just a thin line, but it's more or less when, as and when to apply them, because there are certain solutions that are not they are not as simple as it is. Like, like the book says I should do, like a live wire goes here, like let's say electrical engineer, your live wire goes here, this one your earthing goes here. But then on the field you'd have to improvise. Yeah, you have to improvise, because the book is not going to teach you that, but based on your understanding and what you want to achieve, you realize that, nah, I really have to rather bend the rules a little to achieve what I want to do. So it's just a thin line between what you study in school and what you are doing on the job. Because most of the time you realize that sometimes you actually appreciate what you learned in school once you're on the job, because they'll do something and be like, okay, the first time, and I appreciated horizontal and vertical curves was in highway, was when I was doing my internship. Like, because in the school, like they were saying horizontal curve, vertical, like I didn't know what that was. But once on the field, like we understood the concept, but like reality, what is it like? Is it like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Like, we didn't understand. But once you're on the field, then like climbing a hill and descending, you know what that is. Going through left and right bends, then you know what that is. So it's sometimes you get on the field before you appreciate what is actually being taught in school. So it's a win-win. Like, if you take the book seriously, once you get on the field, you appreciate it. And once you get on the field, you remember, like, oh, this was once mentioned. So it's almost the same thing.
Okay. Thank you, Gune. Let me just point something to, like, as civil engineers, one of the common things we used to hear whilst we were in school was the fact that the people who attended polytechnics, they were good, they were better than us. But if you realize we get paid more than them, and I understood this better, like when I was in my national service. So there was a meeting, and this was like among the professors, and this was one of the conversations that came in. And Professor Doma Samoa said something that like always stuck with me. The reason that we civil engineers, we get paid, like we who go to the university, we get more paid than the people who go to the poly, is because the people in the polytechnic, they know what to do, they don't understand it. We don't know what to do, but we understand it. And that's the example of what Grenade gives. Like the educational system, it doesn't teach, and I think that's what we expect. We expect the education system to tell us that A plus B is equal to C, but that's not what it is. That our education is to let us understand that if we know that A plus B is equal to C, but today when we did A plus B is equal to D, now, based on the theory we've learned, we will be able to explain the reason why A plus B is equal to D and not C. And that's what the people who attended polytechnics, they can't do. So that's how come we always get paid more than them, even though we can't do the work. So our education system gives us the chance or ability to think for ourselves when things are not working. So in as much as like it will not be exactly, but when we are in tough situations, we are able to explain that. So that's like my 2 cents on that topic. Does anyone have anything to say, or we should move on to the next question? Okay, so since there's silence, I'm going to move on to the next question. So the next question is between the masters in engineering and MSc, which is suitable for the job market. So a masters in science is more research focused, and a masters in engineering is more practical. So for this, it's the masters in engineering. That's what I know. Like, does anybody have anything to say with regards to that, or we should move on? Okay, so we move on.
Except in
Okay,
China. In
okay,
China, the engineering students, I got a master's in engineering, but
okay.
it's a research.
Based. Okay,
Yeah, the all engineering students are given masters in engineering, but
okay.
the other sciences like maybe biological science, something science will get masters in science, MSc. So that's the only difference. It's just in China.
Okay,
But
thanks
then,
for mentioning that.
yeah.
So I think like for whatever program you want to do, I think maybe you should take your time to read the course content to know, because like if it wasn't today, I always assume that everywhere a master's in science was research based and a master's in engineering was the opposite. So thanks for bringing this up. So the next question, this question is for Sky. You mentioned you're into consultation now. Is that in the field of engineering or business, and how is work life in Europe?
Yeah, I would say that for me, I have an ideal situation for my career, and I have a professional career. With my professional career, I'm doing more of sustainability consulting, and that is more to do with like clients, local government authorities who have like issues with how to implement sustainable policies. So that's what I did before. But currently, on my own, I do business development for startups like consultancy. So I work at a number of startups and try to like help them with how to do market entry and stuff like that. So I'm doing both, and that's to answer that question. And I'll say one interesting thing about work life in Europe, and I think people don't really talk about it, is that the language is important. So I've been lucky to like work in Portugal, work in Germany, and finally I'm back here in Italy. And like for all of them, if you really want good opportunities, you need. They say, "Oh yeah, speak English, English," but man, you are and it's very competitive. I think that's something that people don't say. Like, it's crazy competitive, even for internship positions. So like that's something that I'll say about work life in Europe. But generally, I think in terms of benefits and stuff like that, I think it's generally okay in terms of healthcare, affordable healthcare, and blah blah blah, as compared to the states. But then that's just what I want to highlight. Like language is really important. So wherever you end up, if it's Germany, is they'll say yeah, you can speak English unless you're an IT like Harry. Harry, you guys, you don't need language. I swear, bro. All my guys in the IT space, they don't even speak like hello in Dutch, but like they still get
Yeah,
job
it's
opportunities.
universal.
That's
Yeah, very
yeah, and that's
universal.
what I just want to say.
Cloud, cloud, cloud.
Okay. Since like we're on the issue of language, there's a question. So I think even though it's for me, like I think I also Sky, you've given a suggestion. So like Max, I also like you to chip in something because you're also not in English. How did you cope with the barrier between French and English? Sincerely, I didn't cope because like it was really hard for me. Like it was really. I'm always this outgoing person. Like everywhere, Barbara is there, but like being in a place where you couldn't speak the language, like like I really had a lot of imposter syndrome. It really affected my self confidence because in spaces where like I even have something to say, like there is a language, but with time you figure it out. Just like life, like everything, you figure it out. So my French is not as good as it's supposed to be, but it's better now. I can hold conversations. I can understand, but I had to learn. I had to figure it out because I had no choice. So before it was hard, but with time I figured it out. And there are also a lot of free resources, so that's a good thing. They have a lot of free resources, and even though the program was English, we actually also took French classes, and there are a lot of other activities I partook in to help improve my language. So yeah, Maxwell.
Yeah, so for me, the main thing I was disappointed with concerning language was that even after like 2019, my Chinese was okay, but it wasn't good enough for me to be, for my supervisor to say that, oh, go and do an internship or go and do this or that. Like the main thing was internship. I was really hoping I I would get the chance to go and do an internship over here. I mean, it's China. There is construction. There's engineering going on all over the place. But there's nobody who has the time to come and stand by me, the one or two international students, to be explaining the thing that's going on in Chinese, or like try to translate the Chinese to English to me. There was nobody who would be able to do that at the site, so I couldn't go for internship. And I I I I, I wish it wasn't like that, but that's the main thing I had as a problem with the language. But I guess other places, I hope it will be better there. They will have some English speaking people. They will be able to do some internship. But for here, it's going to be difficult if you think you can do internships here, but then you get the other experiences. So it's okay. We are managing. But for speaking, it's not a big deal. If you are willing to learn, you can manage it. Most people are not willing to learn, and that's where the problem comes. But
Okay,
Okay.
if you
Barbara, just to put this out there, I feel um being multilingual is really underestimated in our parts. Like, even with local languages, like for me, I always encourage people, like whichever country or whatever space you find yourself, whatever language you can grasp, grab, even if it's greeting, grab it like with both hands. Because for me, the I understand I think three other local languages, and those have helped me like extremely well. Like at this point, I'm an advocate for multi languages. Like you need to learn any language that you can grab. You never know where you find yourself. There are sometimes I go to the north, I have to call my mom. My mom understands 13 local languages. So I have to call her for her to talk to somebody because of an information I want to carry out. And it's I was lucky to have my mom who understands the language. But imagine being at a place where you can't get anybody to help. So for me, I'm a very like I always advocate that whichever space you find yourself, just any language, even if it's Swahili, just learn it. Like even if it's greetings and just hello, hi conversations you can hold is best. What you find yourself in a space and just a phrase might just allow you to might open a door for you to do something, or somebody will just assist you because you could just speak their language. So for me, I'll just say whatever language or space you find yourself, try and grab the language there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Daniel. So, Benedicta, did you do your masters immediately after your undergrad, or you worked and you did your masters?
I did my master's right after NSS.
Okay.
So
Did
whilst I was in school, I was doing my NSS. I applied. So right
oh
after,
okay.
yeah,
So one of the questions somebody asked was it funded?
yeah, it was funded.
Okay, so
It
you
was
didn't
a
have to pay
scholarship. It ended in 2018. So the scholarship has ended. Now you would have to pay.
pay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I thank you. Did anybody work before they did your masters? I think it was Sky, but Sky is not here.
Sky
So
is
now,
gone off.
okay. So Harry, like this question is for you. At what point did you know that you wanted to do the switch, and how difficult has that been? We can't hear you, please.
All right, cool. So I realized I wanted to switch when I was still in Netis. I was in Netis with Randy, he's in the comments, and then with
Okay.
Daniel, he's here. So I've already mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. So yeah, I realized I wanted to switch when I was in Netis because the type of work we were doing and the way we were like suffering, civil engineering is suffering, honestly. The type of work we were doing and the reward for it was not relative at all. Like we were working really hard. I remember they used to I used to go build telecom towers in Temali. Then within the same week, I'd go back to Kumasi to go build another telecom tower. And then when I come back, they'd give me and I'll go do TSS technical site survey at Volta region. So I was just traveling up and down, and the kind of remuneration, or let's say the salary they were giving us, was not cool. Grenade knows. Where this in the comments, he knows. So Basically, yes, it was more or less money motivated, but when I started with the web development, I saw that like I had like this passion for it because I really did not like learning when I was in school. But with the web development, like I could see like I liked it. I don't know, but like there was this passion. Like I was cool with it. So and and when I researched more, I saw that like the salary, the kind of salary they are paying web developers, software engineers, and everything, it was like really high compared to civil engineer in Ghana. No, let me not go to the US and the UK and everything, because when we go there, it's like going to blow everything out of proportion. But like in Ghana, the kind of salary they're giving even like software engineers and then civil engineers in Ghana is like times five or
Only
something.
three.
Yes, yes, yes. So like, yes, it was somehow money motivated, but it was also there was this passion for it. So like I think around late 2018, I started with the web development. When I started, right, I thought I was not going to complete it because let's say I'm sort of lazy. Yeah, so I thought I was not going to complete it, but by 2020, 2019, 2020, yeah, I was like, yeah, this is where I'm headed to. So I started freelancing while I was still in the civil engineering. I remember I left Netis, and then like I think when I was in Africa, when I was we were doing the fiber duct installation from Tema to Akosombo, I was still doing the freelancing. So I had a lot of friends who came to me for to do their websites for them, like to develop their websites for them and everything. And it was cool, it was fun. The money was nice, even for friends. So I could see that hey, there was something in this. There was something in this. So I had already like I was let's say I had not switched, but then I was in two fields, right? So I was in web development and I was in civil engineering. But then come 2020, the last civil engineering job I was in, the money was good. Yeah, the pay was good, but I still switched because like I knew this
Uh,
was like
before you continue, like when can you tell us the money like involved? Because you said the money
okay.
is what like can
Yeah,
you
maybe to
package
be,
with
but not
numbers?
yeah, right, to be. So it was let's the range was from like 2.5 to 3, right? So
1,000
yeah, 2.5 to three
Yeah.
thousand. Yeah, but
per
like
month?
all yeah per month.
Okay.
But that yeah, but all the previous civil engineering jobs I had done, right? They did not reach that. So it was
Okay.
just this one, just the last one that I was doing that was like from 2.5 to 3,000. And that was because we had bonuses and everything. Like the main pay was 2,500, right? But then the
Okay.
bonuses and everything could reach like up to like 3,500. Yeah, like from daily. Sometimes you go to the sites, they'll give you your per diem or something. Yeah, those kind of stuff. Yeah, so I realized, yeah, even though the pay was good, I was still not like I think I was still not into the civil engineering like that. Like I liked my job. My last job, I loved it. Like it was I think it's one of the only civil engineering jobs that I loved. But I knew like the coding was I had more like I was more passionate about the coding than the civil engineering. So I knew how to switch. So January 2020, I found Azubi Africa, and Azubi Africa has been so great to me. I'm not going to lie. Azubi it was really nice. So Azubi Africa helped me get my AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, and I continued learning, and I've almost gotten my solutions architecture certification. I'm also learning to get so I'm actually learning 3 courses right now: DevOps, solutions architecture, and then sysops. But the sysops are like I'm just putting on the side for now. So it's more or less solutions architecture and then DevOps. So yeah, Azubi Africa has really, really, really helped me a lot. And they recently linked me to another company. So I'm starting a new role middle of this month. So yeah,
Hey, link
Wow.
us your GitHub.
Wow.
Link your
Uh,
GitHub account. Let's do
what's the
code
name
from
of the
there.
company? Azubi.
Azubi Africa.
All these things, are you learning them for free or you have to pay?
Azubi Africa, I learned everything for free in Azubi Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned everything for free with the certification and everything. I learned everything for free with Azubi Africa. But with Azubi Africa, you have to, if you want to continue to learn your solutions architecture, that is when they are going to have this it's more or less like a pay structure with you. You are going to learn with them, and then you are going to pay you're going to pay them after you get a job, right? But then
Okay.
I did not continue with the solution architecture with them because I had prior experience with coding and everything, so I knew I could learn on my own. So I just learned the AWS solutions architect sorry, a cloud practitioner with them, and I think I was one of the top students in the class. Yeah, I was one of the top students in the
I
company.
read
So
top student, like I read,
I know, right?
I read easy. I read top student. We don't throw
Yeah.
people away.
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
throw people away.
And this guy was Lewis. I don't know if you guys remember Lewis. Lewis was in Azubu as well, but he is currently in their solution architecture class because he did not have the prior experience with the coding and the cloud and everything. So he's currently
Code still.
with them. Yes. So
Code
but
still.
I yes, code still. You didn't remember. Yeah, so I'll be writing my solutions architecture certification soon, but I'll be starting a new role soon. I'll also be writing my DevOps certification real soon. So I've been like with the switch, it's been constant learning, constant learning. You learn every time. Because with the tech, if you do not know, you do not know. If you know, you know. And with the tech, when it comes to the interviews, it's technical. It's really technical. So they're going to ask you, how are you going to configure a VPC in the cloud? And you do not know, like maybe you've actually learnt about it, but you've never configured a VPC in the
Okay,
cloud
I will
before.
sorry,
You are
but
not
just be
supposed to.
wrapping up.
Yes, I'm wrapping up right now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really technical. So you have to learn a lot. So yeah, that's my journey. So the switch is cool and everything, but you have to learn a lot because you do not have the fundamentals, and you just got into it um later in life. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you. So like before, like now you were earning 2,500. Before, like how much were you earning? Like you can give us a range before the 2,500.
I'm not going to lie to you. My first job as a civil engineer, I had 800 cities.
That
I'm
was in
not
what
going to
year?
lie. Well, that was in 2017. Yes, beginning of 2017. No, ending of 2017. After the national service.
Oh, okay.
I was earning 800 cities a month. And I went to my HR because my HR promised me if I spent more than 6 months in the company, my pay was going to increase, right? So I went to my HR and then I asked my HR. So I've been here for 6 months and I was doing like two roles. I was like a supervisor and then a project coordinator. Like I was helping the project coordinator with his work. So I was more or less like a supervisor and project coordinator. So they increased my pay to 1,000 cities. It still wasn't enough for me. So I left that company within a year.
Okay, thank. And
Yeah.
as a cloud engineer now, like what's the range of salary you are getting?
So
So
as
that
a
we
cloud engineer,
understand.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm just going to give a range, but let's say it's above whatever I was getting as a civil engineer.
But you've not said anything. If it's above, it could
That's
be.
all.
No,
If
that,
it's
That's all.
no, no, you could
It's
give a
okay.
range. You could give a range
That's all.
for
All
us
right.
to.
listen. You know what? Do you know what? A cloud engineer in Ghana takes at least from let me just say from 3,000 to
Okay,
like 6,000, like as a starter,
okay,
right?
okay,
As a starter. So, but in the US and then in the UK, it's 100K to 120K in the US, and then in the UK, I think it's from 50K to I think 80K because their salary ranges in the US and the UK. But in Ghana, it's from 3,000 to like 6,000 as a starter.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much. So
Yes.
before we move on to the next question, and Daniel, like there's a question directly for you. I know you can see the question. So can you help us? Then we can move on to our questions.
Austin is mad. Austin is mad. Like, I should answer.
Yeah,
Make
you
it
can
don't
give
mind
us
them. Make it
range.
don't mind them.
Okay, so I'm earning between 5,000 and 12,000.
Okay, thank you. And that's what you've been earning like right after school.
No. Like currently, I'm earning between 5,000 to 12,000 a month.
Okay. And before, like, how much was your first salary?
My first salary was 1,000 cedis
Okay.
net.
Okay.
Then I went to 1,800 net. Then from 1,800, I started the journey to where I am now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Charlie, then the Ghana, I know bad like that too.
No, it's no.
You
See,
see the five
it's
K,
actually it's actually
my
no, it's
brother.
actually the company I'm working with.
Ah, okay,
But
okay.
Sky,
Yeah.
it's just not 5K, 5K to 12,000. You didn't.
Yeah, the range be mad, oh, bro. Anyway, congratulations, you put for five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what I wanted to mention, it makes you understand that there's always good somewhere. So like, and I think that's what I liked about what Harry Sab mentioned. Like, if you're in a situation which doesn't work for you, you don't have to, because like Harry
Oh
and
yeah.
Grenade are all civil engineers, but Harry's fee is
Great.
800, Grenade is taking like 1,000 or 1,018. So like there are so many opportunities out there. Maybe it will take time to figure it out, but if it's not working for you, kindly please switch. So now let's go back to the questions. So, as an engineer, what skills can you learn outside the classroom that will help you in the job market? So, for this question, I would like Benedicta and Grenade and Sky to take them. If other people also want to jump in, they can do it. So the question is down there.
Oh, okay. For me, I would in all your learning, learn Excel.
True.
In all your learning, just learn Excel. Like Excel will help you in so many ways you didn't even know. Like Excel and yeah. I'll just say Excel. Excel is just a powerful tool. People really underestimate the use of Excel. It's really a powerful tool. So in all your learning, learn Excel.
Okay, thank you. And Benedicta?
Okay, I would like to say that if you're an engineer, but then you have an interest in something, not necessarily something academic, you like to sew, you like to sell. So for me, I am thinking about doing a marketing course because I like business. I like to do business.
A Kunfi
So
plug.
you can be an engineer. You can be an engineer and still have all these side gigs so that you can be earning extra. You can't be a billionaire with just one source of income. So
Please,
whatever you have an
Grenade can.
pardon,
I'm like Grenade can.
you know what? I
I'm
can't
like
even
Grenade
hear
can be a
you.
billionaire with one source of income.
Oh, Grenade has a lot of side gigs he's doing aside what he's doing. So Grenade, yeah, he's the drone papa for side gigs. So
I.
whatever you have an interest in,
Magician
and
things
if you have
or
an interest in something, it makes it easier to learn. So not necessarily academic, sewing, hairdressing. You can even makeup artistry. Some of these things are really paying well in Ghana. So if you have time on the side, you can learn, upgrade, and all that. And you can learn some of these things even on
photography.
YouTube. You can learn how to do makeup, sew something. Like starts from somewhere, and then when you get money, you can update yourself on all that. So it's good to have a side business if you don't want to do something academic, something that you have an interest in that will make it easier for you, something you can do on the side and not let your job suffer. Even as you try to do a side business, it's very important that you keep your employment. If you have a deadline to meet, you have to know which one is priority because you get money from whatever employment you got to pay to learn hairdressing or nowadays they call it beautician, to pay to learn how to be a beautician or a designer or a makeup artist. So whilst you do your side gigs, you make sure that you don't let your employer suffer because they gave you an opportunity and you don't have to throw that away. So whatever makes you have an interest in, I think it's fine. I think someone say, then they can okay, a config is for item 13. I'll bring it to you, Jesse. You have no problem.
Okay, but Bennett, thanks for the submission. But like the question was like really to like civil, like you want to continue in civil, like what other skills do you need like to prepare yourself like for a job in civil engineering? So an example could be like as you were in school, there were things you learned, but like in the industry, what are some of the things you've started doing, you started using that you were not using in school?
Okay, No matter which engineering field you find yourself in, I think knowing all those softwares, if you are in the water sector, EPANET, if you are doing structures, AutoCAD, all those softwares that are important for your work, if you can learn all those things, upgrade on your skills, it helps you. Like if you're in an environment where you are the only one who can use AutoCAD, it helps you to even get an upgrade in your salary and all that. So all those softwares that you use in your engineering work, you can update and help your employer with that. So that's what I can say for the engineering field.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody want to add anything, or we should move on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara, let me add this.
Okay.
With the softwares, personally, as an engineer, you should know like where you want to be at a certain point in your life, because at a point, even you wouldn't be using the software, you'd have subordinates. You'd probably be a project manager. You can assign the task to somebody else, but you should be able to interpret the results. And if maybe there are one or two edits you have to do to the main work, then you do. So basically having a brief understanding of how the system, like the software, you don't have to be extremely good, but you should know how it works. If somebody gives you an AutoCAD drawing, you should know what the layers mean, like all those things mean. But you wouldn't necessarily be using them in your everyday life. But it's just good to know these softwares related to your field. And also learning Microsoft projects is also important.
What's Microsoft projects and what is it used for?
Okay, so Microsoft Project is it's a scheduling software. It's used for scheduling activities, project deadlines, milestones, and yeah, basically resource allocation. So let's say you are building, you have a project, you define your timelines when each activity is supposed to start. So once you are able to like allocate all these resources, you know when a resource is free that you can release it to another like side. You can also know if your project is lagging, if you have to crash some of the activities, like go extra hours. It's very important. Like, so some people want to be engineers, like field engineers. Others too want to be project managers. And going forward as a project manager, like Microsoft Project is a very important tool. You should also learn. So
Okay. Sky has gone up because I wanted to. Maxwell, you wanted to say something. Okay, Patricia.
Okay, so I'm going to add to what my colleagues and friends have said. One of the most important things too that we should also bear in mind is building our network. When I talk about network, it starts from your course mates in class, through your lecturers, through where you do your internships, because you realize that there's this saying that goes, it is not about who you know, it's about who knows you. I don't know if you've
yeah,
heard that statement, but you realize that that statement plays a bigger role in how you are moving up faster. So I'm just going to use an example. Back in this part of the world, they open our lecturers and professors open their doors. They open in the UK, they open their doors every day. They don't close the door. They open their door so that when you are walking on the corridor, you can enter and talk about anything. It could be you having a bad day. It could be you having a stressful time in class. It could be you doing anything. But you realize that in tech, it almost feels like you can't approach, but you can also make an effort to knock on the lecturer's door. Just get in, just try to build a rapport with someone, because someone was asking a question about recommendation and how easy is it to get a recommendation from lecturers. Sometimes lecturers don't remember you because they've not even seen you really. They've not even had a one-on-one with you. So my advice is building our networks, using the resources we have um, right from campus. Our lecturers are big resources, and we sometimes do not know what they can offer us. We just think they are just marking our scripts and coming to class to teach us. But they can open you to a wide range of knowledge, and they can point you out to things that ordinarily you would just comb and you won't find. So building networks, trying to present yourself. Because for me, I started my internship right from first year when I was in when I was doing my BSc, right from first year. Maybe sometimes people think that, okay, let me just relax and let me just wait. But if you are able to also present yourself and say, okay, I am here, I'm not, I don't mind if I don't get any money. I want to learn something. I want to work with this company. So just let me be here for 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And then you're able to put that on your CV. So you realize that you start building your work competence and your networks right from the word go. So you're not waiting till you do industrial training attachments before you are starting to work. You're starting right from the word go. And you're building your network with your bosses, supervisors from the workplace, and you're also trying to let your lecturers see your face. Let your lecturers know you. So that when it gets to a point where it's difficult, your lecturer can connect with another lecturer and say, oh, please write a recommendation for Patricia because I know her. She's a very good student. I remember her. So write a recommendation for her. I've written one for her last week. So your recommendation would also go a long way to push her up. So building your networks is really, really, really important. If you want to go up faster, consider building your networks as well. Your lecturers are your friends. The place to go. They are the place to start with. Professor Nyako, I still have a very good relationship with him. I called him last week and he said, where am I? What am I doing? How is it going? Do I need any help? He can connect me. Imagine he's still saying he can connect me with a professor in the US. I mean, so that is how connected they are and how they can actually help you move faster. So knock on those doors, get to your professors, talk to them, explain things to them. You have an issue, you want to boost your average, you are the ones to go to. Don't be afraid. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you. Maxwell, did you want to say something or we should move on to the next question? You are muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, hello. About the extra things, like aside from maybe switching, like in case maybe you want to switch in the future, like Harry did, if you ever come across coding and you think you like it, like you feel like it's good for you and it's somewhere you'd be comfortable with, go with it. Especially if you have plans for extra like further studies along the line, because for some people who went over here, for some people who were doing coastal engineering,
Mhm.
all of them, every single research they were doing was full coding. Like
Mhm.
there was no way
Simulation.
you survive that place without coding. And it was tough for some of them too, they were comfortable. So if you ever come across coding and you like it, just it doesn't you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, this particular programming language or the other one. Just try your hands on it. Once you get into that place, when you get there and you have to change to something else, I think you'll be fine as compared to somebody who is completely new. But if you ever get in that field and you like it, just keep going there. Don't lose touch with it because it really helps sometimes. And
Okay.
then if you want to switch to, you switch like Harry. So
Okay, thanks. I'll talk a little bit about the coding, then I'll ask a question, then we'll go to the next question. Most of the time, when we hear coding, we feel it's IT. But even in academia, there's a lot of coding. We use like Python, we use C++, plus plus. We use it a lot even in academia. So just because you hear coding, it does not necessarily mean that you are working in the IT space. Even in civil engineering, we do a lot of coding with work. It's like
You guys remember MATLAB?
yeah, even no, we use Python, we use C++, we use MATLAB, and like before, I always thought academia was just MATLAB, but now I know that like we use Python in academia, we use C++ and all those other coding languages. So yes, so before this question, Sky, I wanted to ask a question. Where is it? Is it advisable to pursue graduate studies right after undergraduate? Because like you had a gap year before. I think among all of us, we just went directly, but you had a gap year. Did you going into the industry before your masters play any role? Did it make any changes?
Yeah, I think that for me, I feel it depends on the person. Like there are obviously people in class who are way smarter. Like people were really like good with should I say the the subject matter of civil engineering. So if you're someone in that mode, definitely it would suit you best to immediately after you finish, like go and pursue your graduate studies. But for someone like me, I felt like I also needed to do some soul searching and
Okay.
having like the opportunity to like do the national service and after that work in the industry a bit, I was able to try different things and learn more about what I wanted and what. Because I think another thing was like I struggled with the fact that whenever like coming from our bachelor, it was more like civil engineer was structural engineering. I was never crazy about structural engineering. I was more into like environmental stuff or water or something like that, or systems engineering. So like being in the working field made me kind of understand where I would find a suitable fit. So it just depends on the person. So if you're someone who is more like book inclined, maybe Barbara, you go straight up. But if you're someone like me where it's like a bit of both and you're more practical, you can just work.
Okay. And thank you. And Maxwell, did you think like going directly to graduate school played a role? Was it good, or do you wish that like in retrospect you had worked a bit before entering going directly to school? And Benedict, the same question to you when Maxwell is done.
Just as you said, it depends on your like your preference. But I think it hasn't harmed me just going directly to school. It's not been a problem. And actually, I have met quite some guys here who were like they wish they came earlier to school and finished up with the school stuff because the break they had forgotten some of the stuff they studied in BSc and everything was like a fresh start for them. But for me, for instance, it was really nice. I still remembered a lot of the stuff, and for me, I was a TA after that, so I was still pretty much in school, so it was still fresh. So I think if you want to study, if you want to continue immediately after, it's not bad. It's not a bad choice. But if you get the experience to, I haven't had the experience, so I can't speak much to it. But I think it will also be nice.
Okay, so Benedict, yeah. Benedict, are you there?
Okay, network.
Yeah, Ben, are you there?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I had network issues a minute ago. So, for me, I think it's working for some time before you venture into graduate school. It makes it easier. Like you are able to, let's say you want to do something in water and sanitation. You work with them for maybe 2 years. That's your graduate course. Because you have some sort of practical experience, it makes it easier. You're able to link what you learned on the field to what the theory you are taught in the classroom. However, depending on what course you want to charter, if you want to uh, go into the academia, it doesn't matter if you do it right after BSc or right after your master's, you start doing your PhD. It depends on the pathway you are going. But if you work before you do the graduate course, it just makes it easier. But either way, you find your feet. So there's nothing really wrong with that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next question we are going to, I want to know the processes involved in school applications, what you need to do and what to avoid, scholarship stress and applications fee wahala, the best schools and countries with opportunities. Can somebody take it and please just give the points because like we are almost
But Barbara, this one, the person should just follow your YouTube channel.
yeah. But,
Everything is
It's very true,
everything is
very
there.
true.
okay, so whoever asks a question, like as she said, like I have a lot of videos on that. So just check the channel. But like if anybody has something to add,
Yeah, one thing right now is that China has closed their borders to um, student visas. So
okay.
I can't come home right now because if I come home, I cannot come back and continue my studies. I can do it there if possible, but
Okay.
I can't return. And those who came home since 2020 have not yet returned, and there haven't been any new students coming in. Student visas are not coming in since then. So I think if you want to study in China, maybe consider other if you think the coming here will be a big part, which for engineering courses it's going to be a big part. You can't do engineering masters or PhD here. Here right now, for instance, the machine I'm going to use, we don't have it in Ghana. So that one you cannot do it in Ghana if you are there. But if maybe public administration and those other stuff that you maybe project management, something you can do online, you can study the processes online, that one is different. But if not, if you don't want to study your masters online for the next maybe 1 or 2 years, I think you should avoid China. Consider your options other, in other countries, because you cannot enter China right now at the moment. You can't, even if you get the admission and everything, the scholarship and everything, and you won't. Right now, for the past like 2 years, people who have, like, the scholarship is also a motivation because
Yeah.
the money they'll give, but you won't even receive the scholarship because they only deposit the money into a Chinese bank account. You are not in China, you don't have a Chinese bank account. It's a long story. Avoid China for the next 2 years if you are considering coming to school here. So just for the next 2 years, or until you hear that the policy has been changed.
Okay, thank you. And just the previous question, just like I don't think there's anything like a best country and opportunities. I think that's one thing you should realize. We are all different people and different individuals, and we all have our motivations. So listen to what people have to say. By the end of the day, make your decision for yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to have to pay the price for that, and you have to sit your ass down to look at other places and weigh the options and decide like what is best or what is good for you. So the next question is, do you consider yourself more advantaged to live outside Ghana? I think you are more privileged in a way. So in view of this, how do you plan on impacting Ghana now? So my brothers and sisters abroad, how do you plan on impacting your country? Like, are you guys going to send some money home to improve the country? Like, what's up? What's up? Tell
Don't,
us.
don't come back.
Okay, so I can start that. I think
Okay, yeah.
um, one of the um, one of the things that studying in Britain makes you do is to give back to your country. So if you look at their system, they'll say after your masters, go back to your country. And if you want to come back into the country, try and serve your country for at least 24 months before you come back. So naturally, I finished my masters and I was in Ghana. I wish I didn't have to do that and make that journey. But it was just, first of all, they had put money in you, had invested money in you, and they wanted you to give back to your country. So for me, I think, and to answer that question, I have done one of that already. So I went back to Ghana. Unfortunately, there was a UNICEF project that took us to very, very rural areas. Like I was in the north, I was in Volta, Ghana, I was in central Ghana, and then some parts of greater rural areas. I was just really working for a lot of months, and I was on the sun, and I mean, I had to experience all the real conditions. So we're doing a lot of water and sanitation projects. And that I would say that also helped me to also realize that there is a big public health opportunity with WASH. So that is how I was able to decide my next steps. I mean, to shaping it up properly. It was just because of the contribution that I gave back to Ghana. So I did a lot of rural work in um, rural areas in Ghana. And I really learned a lot about different cultures. I learned a lot about work ethics, meeting different people, different ideology skills, and how to people management. I mean, so well, I've done mine already. I don't know who else has done anything by giving back to Ghana in a way. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So who next? I mean for Maxwell. Maxwell said that China said they'll not let him come back. So even if he wants to come back, he
Ah,
can't
but
come
I
back.
thought I saw Maxwell in 2019 on Tech Campus.
Yeah, I came back. I came
Graduation,
back.
I saw you.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
came
was in
back.
the car. I was just driving
Yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah, I came back in
That's
2019.
Maxwell. I saw
Actually,
you with Randy.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I saw you guys.
In tech,
Yes.
Randy, I met him. Okay, okay, but I
On
also met,
graduation, like you guys
yeah,
were
yeah,
seriously doing some work. I saw you.
I was on summer holiday, so I came to
Oh,
do
good for you.
photography
Yeah.
in tech tech
Yeah.
graduation. Actually,
I mean,
for me, uh, my plan is definitely to come back to Ghana because my me coming here to do masters and PhD. Okay, when I was coming, I was like, I'm coming to do masters and then PhD, and then I'll come back to tech and teach structures. It's still my plan, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think yeah, and I think I hope hopefully I'll get the opportunity to do that because I've already like so far it seems they need structures, teachers, and all that. A lot of the US people, Amanoa and Michael, you all you know do PhD, you the job, the chop money. We go back, go teach. You know, be anything. So for me, that's my plan actually. Yeah. But then maybe I'll pause and do some postdoc because so far I've been hearing that postdoc a lot of money is involved. So maybe I'll get myself settled with some postdoc money before I get to the structures.
It's all about the money.
Charlie, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
So I'll gather some money before I come to Ghana and then we come and give back.
Very
When we
important.
get the money, we'll come and give back.
Okay, so Sky.
Yeah, man, great submissions. For me, I think in the long term, I agree with the person's sentiments in the sense that yeah, I feel like we are privileged, and at least for me, I've gotten to see how here like the EU spends so much money in terms of supporting like startups, like being able to ideate to the final product. For me, how I want to um give my contribution to Ghana is um I'm looking at how to connect foreign like diasporan people like us here and our skills and also our money to help like startups in the Ghanaian ecosystem. So that's like my long term goal. So everything I'm doing now is like trying to put the foundation blocks to that. So that's my dream and hopefully it comes to pass.
Okay. And Sky, that's actually great. So I actually entered the business incubator with like this idea, but we didn't progress because I had to leave for my PhD, but like I had the idea. And so for me, like the suggestions you guys are giving like is all great. But for me giving back, like all what you guys are saying is like it's the big things, and there are small things. Like for me, this YouTube channel is me giving back to society. Like making these opportunities available to all of you is how I'm giving back. Like I don't have to wait till I'm done to give back to society. I think that's something that we should all look at, like whether you're abroad or even in Ghana. Like once you are done, giving back could be something little. Like you, the engineers, you could call Care University and be like, hey, so like I want to have a course with the students, like just to share with them like your experiences in engineering. I could call them like, oh, my company, I want the students to come. Like even creating internship opportunities for the people in school, like that's giving back. We don't have to wait till the big thing. And for the big thing, like just like Max, so like for me, that's how it's always been. Do my master's, do my PhD, go back to Kenya University to go and teach. But with time, I've also come to realize that it's not what you want. We want to go back to Kenya University to teach, but does Kenya University wants us back? Because and that's the question. So it's like, yeah, ideally, like that's the goal. Like I want to go back to Kenya University to give back. But if Kenya University doesn't want me back, I can't force it. Like in as much as we want to give back, we should also realize that we are also important. So we also have to look for opportunities elsewhere. Yeah. So I think we've really gone further than I planned. So I'm just going to ask let me just check if there are any pertinent questions we could look at that, or we could call it a day. Let me see. So Sky, this was something for you.
Sky, they say that your blood change you.
Yeah, I know, right, bro.
So I can't see the question, but there was a question that talked about the fact that is a first class important or something along those lines. So
Yeah, it's in the
No,
start.
okay, it's in
no, I
the
think
start. Okay.
yeah, I think the
Oh yeah,
question that
it's
I
very important.
saw was
Yeah.
from Jesse. Like he was asking about like how lecturers are like I forgot to, but I kind of got what he was saying. I just didn't know if he meant lecturers in he like from tech.
Okay, the question is, what's your view per experience with lecturers? How they connect with students and recommend? Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what the lectures meant, like in Ghana lectures, or let's say here, but like even here, like my research job I got in Germany was because of like my professor. And funny enough, it was one of the few professors that I really tried to make a connection with. So I think here, like you said, like that was the thing I was going to say, like Patricia, about networking. Like I swear, like even in like PhDs, like people have worse grades than you, but some professor will just write something and then they'll pick the person up. We even go for PhD interviews and like it's a scam because they already know who they are doing it. Like yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the power of like the professors, like in the
Recommendations.
lectures. And it's I used to think it was only Ghanaian thing. Like, you know, when they do something, I'm like, yo, this is like some African shit. But excuse me, say sorry. But like
It is
they do it
everywhere.
here. They do it here. Like someone just calls someone and then
It's everywhere.
yeah, so I think for them they are more like compared to our professors who are like they want to like clearly show like some distance between them and the student. Here, if you are really like interested and show passion, you can bridge that and that could change a lot. And yeah, I mean you can even like for me, one trick I've learned now because I'm just finishing my MBA program was like after every course, like I'll send a professor an email and put my name like in the header and say, "Oh, thank you, professor." Even though the course was shit, I'll say, "Oh, the course is like, yeah." Then so that if I need something, I'll just follow up with that email going forward. So that's just what I'll say.
Which is Sky, thank you for me. Which is actually really true. Like for me, that's something I do, not because of the recommendation, but because I really enjoyed the class, and you realize how it just makes them feel good because most of the teachers they give, and hardly do we. So like there are some classes we all really enjoyed, but I don't know if it's because of how our system. Nobody goes to that. Oh, I really enjoyed your class, and oh, I really did this. And I think that's something we should start doing. Like if you really enjoy some classes, and I think that's a really brilliant idea. If you really enjoy, just go tell them that. Oh, everybody likes compliments. So it's like if you compliment me, like I'll always remember that. Oh, Sky, that was the guy who said he liked my class. Okay, let me say some nice things about him, and that's how like we make it out. So yeah. So is a first class really important?
Yes.
It helps you, yeah.
It
Makes
helps.
life easy.
It
It
is
will never
actually
hurt
is.
you at all. It doesn't hurt
It
you.
never
You can
it's
ask
very, very
Baba.
important.
It helps. It does help a lot.
Very.
Okay.
Awesome.
But don't lose yourself pursuing first class.
Okay. What does that mean? Can you throw some
What
light
do
It's
you
on that?
mean?
important
You
anyway.
know, like school life balance. You know, because you want first class, no social life, nothing. You are always book. It's it's mentally
But
draining sometimes.
I've
Yeah.
understood that you see, we are all different. So there could be someone who does not really like social life. They just like the books.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And there could
You don't
be
need to have social life. You know, sometimes how do I put it? Yeah, we are all individuals with like there are introverts who don't like social life, but they are good in their solitude. They'll listen to music, they'll watch a movie. Doesn't social life does not actually mean you're out there. Your social life can be in your room, the movies you watch, the music you listen to. Like have a break for yourself that like some resting break. But it's not like I want first class. You skip your meals, you develop ulcer. You don't like you're always like always the book. It's good. Like school is good. First class is very, very, very important. But in the pursuit of that, just don't lose yourself. Because I know somebody who got ulcer because they were pursuing first class.
Yeah, because it was like you were talking from personal experience. I was going to ask you, like, did you know somebody? Because it was
Oh no,
like
no,
the talk you were
I
talking.
know
It
somebody
wasn't
who
just
did.
talk. It's
Yeah,
like
I know somebody who did, and like at the end of the day, it was like it came with a lot of troubles. But so that's what I say. First class is important. That one there, it's very important. But don't lose yourself pursuing it.
okay. I think we've had like a longer conversation, and like based on the feedback we might be doing this more often. Maybe in the next session, maybe we will just group them, maybe like industry, the people who want to go to school, so we can have more talks on that. So this was like just a preview to see how well it goes, and to see if there is really interest in something like this. So if this is something that you want us to be doing more frequently, just let me know in the chat, and from there we will discuss and see. So to finally conclude, what would you do differently if you were back in school? Harry, please start. The way you are smiling, it's like you were prepared, you were ready for
Yeah,
this question.
Hmm. Well, if I was in school, if I was in school, what I would have done differently
it's
is I
learn.
would have exactly I would have been more serious because it's actually really important. Like it's really important. Even if you're in a different field, your degree is still important because most of the tech companies want someone in an engineering who has an engineering degree or a computer science degree or computer engineering degree. So your degree is still really important. So the learning there, you don't like it, but you have to learn. And sometimes even if it's not like you're not even passionate about the things that you are learning, you just learn it and learn to pass. Even if you do not want to like how do you call it, go into that role when you are done or when you graduate, just learn to pass. Like sometimes when you're young, yeah, you like fun, you like to have fun, you like to like chill and everything, and you don't like
Epilogo.
release logo. You don't really see into the future, but then when you're in the future, you're going to look back and you're like, yo, like there's some things that I did was not really necessary. So like you have to like learn, Charlie, pass the thing. Pass it. So
So,
this is my advice to you. Like let them pass it.
Yeah.
sincerely, if I thought Harry would have given, like, I know, like, maybe 5 years ago, I could bet my money that Harry would never give this advice. Harry, it's like Harry telling people to learn. Harry Kenisi.
Yeah, it
See,
was
and
very
that's how
necessary.
beautiful life is. It's
Yeah,
like
it's very necessary.
people grow. So,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
know,
Harry,
right?
thank you.
Yeah, it's very
I'm happy I
necessary.
didn't bet against you that you never tell people to learn. So
So
who next?
yeah, yeah.
Who is
I
on?
think Grenade can go, or Maxwell,
Okay,
you're going to go
Grenada.
next.
Okay, for me, I would network more because um I always say like I'm just glad I did that magic trick that day because that's what got me where I am today, and because of that, like it's so I'll learn to keep up with friends, stay in communication. That's something I actually don't know how to do, but I believe that really helps, like getting to know people in diverse field because like Sky was saying, getting out of school, we all had the mentality that civil was structures, but there are different like industries you could branch off with the civil engineering that you would have no idea. Because right now I'm in the dredging industry and I didn't even know like this existed, like this industry was there. I thought it was the marine, it was related to marine engineering, but I use my civil to get where I am, and it's more like a career path I'm like right now interested in. So for me, you also have to research into the different aspects of civil engineering. It's not only about structures. Structures is basically like the foundation. There are 1,001 industries you could go into with. You can even go into the oil and gas with civil engineering. People actually don't know that. You can go into oil and gas with civil engineering. You can go into environmental engineering with civil engineering. Like civil is basically like the the mother of
The
all
matter.
engineering because you can literally go into every, even in the mechanical field you can go with a civil engineer because you understand the concept of the engineering process. So
Yeah.
I would rather research into more industries related to civil and network with people.
Okay, thank you. Who do you pass the baton to?
Oh, I'm on Patry.
Well, for me, if I had a chance to go back, I would invest more in social life and then build more networks because it takes you far. If I had a chance, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you pass it on to?
Has Maxwell said anything?
No.
Okay, Max.
No, no, no. Me, I was already having a lot of fun in there. uni. So for me, I would say research papers, learning how to read and write research papers. That's what I didn't learn back in Ghana. I would focus more on that, and I'll work on that. But always have fun, always link up with people, even those who are older than you, like professors. Be nice, be nice. They could just be good to you, and you'll be surprised how far it will take you.
Okay, Bene.
Okay. Patricia, I don't think your social life was so bad. Except you and
Hey,
Barbara, you always
Bene.
sat in the first row.
We always had what?
In the first
They
row.
always sat in the first row, never missed it.
Child. Yeah,
Eh,
I was a
o-
regular.
Over here, there was somebody who met me, and then he was like, "Ah, you, I remember you. When we were in KNUST, the girls were always saving a
Always
seat for
around
you
you.
in the first row." I said, "Hey, that's what you remember about me." I was like, "Oh my God. You were
Hey,
always saving a seat for me in the first row.
in
I
the front
always
seat.
come late and then come
Well,
and sit in front with them, Charlie." It
Gabriel.
was nice. It was nice. Mm.
If I were to go back to school, I would have taken my first year seriously because I think I got a lower in first year. So before I could say Jack, I had to struggle, like struggle to get an upper. So and we didn't. For me, I didn't have anyone coaching me when I came to first year. Even if
But
there was
people were
someone.
having coaches.
Yes, people had coaches. Like have a friend in second year or
Okay.
third
Yeah,
year.
that's true.
I didn't have that.
Mm.
So if I should go back, I would take my first year very seriously. That's all I would say. But then not forgetting the social life too. I mean, I wasn't so
Oh,
bad. I'll maintain that.
we should
So
we
that's what I have to say for that.
cancel that scam that you only need 40 to pass in uni. That's a big scam.
That's not a good
You
thing
should
to
try
say
and
to anybody.
yeah, it's not a
It's
good thing.
not
We
good
should
at
never preach
all.
that. You only need 40 to pass. That scam really cost people a lot because back in SS we were clocking 80, 90. So what was 40? So we thought we didn't really need to put in the
Exactly.
effort. But even the 40, you have to go to Paju to be fortified.
Exactly.
So
Mm.
that scam of you only need 40 to pass, we should stop preaching that. It's really misguiding because people become complacent about it and it really costs them. Because in
Yeah.
first year, people you realize that people have a lot of potential in first year, but with the back knowledge that oh, I just need 40 to pass, and it's so for me, I really got to understand this whole CW thing in second year because I thought you see it was like SS. You write exams, everybody just writes the final exams, and what you write in the final exam is what's important. But this with the uni, it's accumulated from first year. So once your first year goes down, yeah, you need a lot of catching up to do. So we should really be emphasizing that first year 40 to pass is a best count.
Okay, thank you. And like for me, like contrary to popular belief, I really did have fun during my time in school. And as Grenade said, like fun for everybody is different. So someone said that I should do more clubbing and chilling. Well, as an adult, I tried it and I didn't really enjoy it. So
Oh my
I
God.
will pass. I think for me, like if I was back in school, I'll try and build more rapport with my colleagues. Like in school, it was more like clicks, click, clicks, clicks. So they were just like a group of people, and I'm sure like now most of us like they were just like a group of people that we kind of interacted with. Like how many were we? We were quite a lot, but we didn't get the opportunity to interact with all other people.
174.
Yes, I think like for me, like if I went back, I would try and interact more with my other colleagues. But the beauty of it is like now after school, even the people you were not even cool with, you tend to still interact with them. I think when I came to Ghana was the last 2 years, I went on a road trip with Grenade. Like what concerned me and Grenade going on a road trip?
Grenade.
Like we were cool in school, like there was no two ways about it. But
Yeah.
my friends were like, you just say I want to do
It
this.
was,
Yeah,
it was like out of the blue.
exactly. but that's the beauty of it. So it's like even the people that you were, I think sometimes some of the colleagues will be like, "Hey, Barbara, like, can you help me with this?" Which is really nice because for me, like I thought that because we were not like that in school, that was how it was going to continue. But like in the adult world, we realized that hey, it doesn't really matter whether you were cool in school or not. Like when people need you or you need people, you can always count on them. So I think I'll call it a day. Let me see. Yeah, so this will be the final question. Then we can say goodbye. Everybody should give an advice to those still in school. So
From the top, Harry.
It's always Harry. Well, as I said, you should learn more. You should learn more. I do like learning, so I was lazy. I'm still a bit lazy, but it works for me. Like why? I mean, like it works for me,
Natural
but
shark.
so yeah, you should learn more. You should have fun, but you should learn more. I was like having more fun than learning. I used to like fun. Like I used to have a lot of fun. Uni, don't be easy. But yeah, you should learn more. You should take, as Bene said, you should take your first year very seriously. Like you should be very serious with your first year because first year is very important. Like it lays the foundation for the rest of your years in uni. So first year is really important. And well, your social life, either you have it or you don't. Like you are still going to like have a bit of social life when you graduate and you go and work and have, yeah, like your work people and you're going to marry and everything. So yeah, social life too. You need to you need to
are we
have
gonna
it.
get married?
Hey, that
Marry.
one there,
Boy.
it go hard. That one there go hard. That would be another yeah, so yeah, learn more. The learning there is really important. You have to learn it. You have to learn. So learn more, and then when you graduate and you want to switch, you can switch. If you want to stay in the civil engineer, you can stay. If you want to go to have like postgraduate studies and everything like Barbara and um Patricia and Max, yeah, you can also do that as well. So we are all different. You could be failing in school right now. That doesn't mean you're not going to achieve like you're not going to achieve, you're not going to make it in life. We are all different, right? So you just
Life is not
continue
super
learning.
story.
Yes, yes. So yeah, we all have different experiences and different paths. So just you can do it. Continue learning and never give up. The key is to never give up. So yeah, that's
Thank you.
my yeah.
Okay, Benedicta. Benedicta, are you there?
I think she's muted.
My advice to people watching, especially undergrads in school, is that you should know how to network, right from the lecturers to your roommates, your course mates. Networking is very important. It takes someone to know somebody. So if you are always in your corner, you are an introvert, you don't mingle with others, you don't go for social gatherings. At the end of the day, you'll come back and bite you. Realize that if only I had talked to this person, I would have had an opportunity here. If you don't network, it's like you just cut yourself from the world. And so it's very important that even as you're in school, we are there to learn, but it's good to network with your lecturers and everyone on campus. That's all I have to say. Daniel, over to you.
Okay, for me, I'd say you should really find, whilst in school, really understand what the job market for the course you are pursuing is, because a lot of people graduate and they actually don't know where they are going, like they don't know what to do with the degree they have. So research into the industries available with the course you have, and also the soft skills you have to learn in addition to the degree. You could have a degree, but you don't know how to use AutoCAD, you don't know how to use basic softwares or basic communication or report writing. Like those little soft skills is really important, especially in the job, because that's not something they teach you in the class. It's something they'll mention, but they'll never teach you on how to um, um, schedule your activities, resource planning, and all those. If you're going to project management, that's what I mean. But the other industries where you need certain soft skills in order to go there. At least you have to be IT literate. There are some people who went through the 4 years. Even if you tell them to make a PowerPoint presentation now, they can't do it, but they can do a TikTok video. So it's this soft
Please don't
skills.
slander TikTokers, please. Please
Oh,
don't
I'm not
slander because
slandering. It's
I'm
just
planning on moving on to TikTok. So please, I beg you.
see, you can see somebody's TikTok, the editing that goes into the TikTok videos, but like simple presentation, Microsoft presentation. It's so I just like these soft skills are very important, especially in the job market. The degree will open the door, but it's when you walk into the room, what are you going to present? So these soft skills are really important. Your computer literacy, your communication, and also your interpersonal relationship. You should work on these three very importantly whilst still in school. And also research, like your course, maybe everybody thinks probably doing electrical engineer, you're going to be an electrician. It's not true. You could go into automation. You could go, like there are so many like people who have the basic understanding about their courses because they know this person did this course and was this. So I also want to do this course and be that. You'll be surprised that you finish the course and even there's no demand for what you have. So you should really research into the job market availability because even as of now, there's this embargo on employment that there's no job on the market. Even if you get it, the remuneration is too small. So trust me, there are companies that are unheard of, but I know people in companies that are less than like them, the whole staff they are less than 50, but the money they are taking because of the kind of job they're doing, it will surprise you. And this is not a company that you see the advertisement somewhere or it's a popular company. People are in, I would say secret societies, but they're in secret companies somewhere chopping big money. So if you are not enlightened about the fields that are applicable to your job, like to the degree that you have, you literally be just out there like roaming to no avail. So it's more about knowing what you want and going after what you want, and also with the soft skills as well. Maxwell.
Thank you. Who is
All
next?
right. So
Mhm.
I think Grenade has said it all. Daniel has said it all. Like really he has covered everything. So I think I just want to say don't under because we are saying first class or this or that, don't let that make you underestimate good grades or anything. They don't harm at all. Just if you can put in some extra effort, if you know you are not doing your best, and if you can put in some extra effort, get some better grades, they won't hurt when you finally pick up your transcripts to one day use it. If you don't ever use it, that's fine because maybe after that you branch into something. Your dad has some business, you take over. It's fine. But if you ever have to rely on your transcript, good grades don't hurt. So don't underestimate that one too. So that's
Okay, thank you. So, Patricia, have you spoken?
No.
Okay, like, can I
Patricia.
talk then you talk, if that's okay?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So, what I really want to add is that our civil engineering degree is a very powerful degree, whether we believe it or not. I think that's what people have mentioned that it can take you to a lot of spaces and a lot of rooms. It might not just be civil engineering, but I think the engineering degree in general, because the basics, like for the engineering, we all do the same basics. And as I previously mentioned, I talked about the fact that to being abroad, most of the trainings or most of the jobs you get, you are trained for the job. So they just need to know that you have like the background knowledge or something, and once you have that basis they can train you. Like I don't know if it was Grenade, but somebody, I think it was Grenade, they were like, when I was doing my masters, there were things that like civil engineers, they were like, we can do this in civil engineer. I was like, but we didn't learn, like we didn't know we could do all this. Like I had friends who, like, for their research they were working with human cells, like civil engineering, and then human cells, their fan whole bang. But like there are so many research, like on the microscopic level and all those things. So like civil engineering is really broad. So let me just talk engineering in general. So like as engineers, like our field is really broad. And even like in Ghana, we see cases where engineering people are being employed as bankers. We laugh at it that our engineer there, banking. like what's the correlation, but it's just because like the basics we learn, it's easier for us to transition to anywhere, because like engineering is more mathematical, you have to think and all those things, and once you have that knowledge, you can survive anywhere. So like just take your engineering seriously, even if that is not what you want at that moment. You're already there, like you can't really do anything about it. So just take it out and finish, and like a lot of doors will open for you. So Patricia.
Okay, this session has really been an enlightening one. And then I can say that whatever you find yourself doing, you're going to account for it. So time is that kind of resource that you don't get back, but eventually you're going to have to account for it, like we are doing now. 5 years down the line, what have we done? So it goes to tell us that whatever for the people in school now, undergrads, like it's gonna come. There's gonna come a time that you have to ask yourself what you did with your time, and other people are going to also inquire that of you. So please try not to waste that resource, because then you won't get it back. And also, I think from everything that we have actually heard here, you realize that you find yourself over time. You may be in a space where you don't generally understand everything you're doing, but you realize that over time, if you keep going and you do not stop, you're going to find yourself, and then you're going to eventually love what you're doing. So you might start off not liking where you are or not understanding everything you're doing. But if you do not give up and you keep going, eventually you find yourself, and then you begin to enjoy what you're doing. Networking, my colleagues have said a lot about, is really, really important. It's a big tool that you need. And also, I learned a lot from Harry's situation, because he kept saying he doesn't like learning. He doesn't like learning. But you realize that the conversation changes to I'm learning a lot now. I'm learning a lot now. Because I guess he has found himself and he's comfortable where he is now. And then he's just, even though he doesn't like learning on a normal day, he's learning just because he's found himself and he's where he is. So if we do not stop what
What
we're doing,
engineer?
if we keep going, definitely we're going to find ourselves. And also our universal university, I mean, it's like universal education is really powerful. Not looking at engineering alone. I mean, if you're able to take, because I've seen that there are other people on the call that are not necessarily engineers, but you realize that they're picking a lot from the conversation we are having. So I feel like universal education in general, it prepares you for a lot. It opens up doors for you, and it gives you a lot of opportunity if you yourself are ready to put yourself out there. So universal education is powerful, and we don't have to underestimate any opportunity that we get from it. So that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if has everybody spoken.
Yeah.
Okay, so before there were some comments that I think there's just one suggestion somebody wanted to make, and they wanted us to talk about relationships. So if we can throw in, and the good thing is that actually we have a civil marriage, like two people in our class decided to get married. So it's like your classmates, your husband or your wife, you could be sitting by them.
Oh, they should have been part of this discussion.
Yeah, so like I don't know if we could just talk about like relationships on campus, and afterwards we could call it a day. Anybody, the relationship guy, I don't know, he's gone off. He was dating no, sorry, let me keep quiet, let him come and talk for himself. So please,
Oh, please.
relationships. Patricia, do you want to share us your heartbreak story or another time?
Oh well, I had a heartbreak in first year. Everybody thinks that I don't look in the way of Nana Riafi after a while, but he actually had opportunity for us to do like start a relationship in first year. But for some reason he had his eyes somewhere else. And when he was disappointed there, I became like an option that he wanted to come to. And I'm like, no, we don't do that. I mean, if I'm not sure number one,
Yeah.
I'm not, I mean, I'm not interested.
I was Patrick.
I'm not doing this. So, Mama Rafi and I, we've been friends on and off and all that. But I mean, I gave him an opportunity in the beginning, and
Blew it.
really, he didn't really do anything. So,
Okay.
can't be blamed. I'm sorry.
So please,
It
anybody
is
has
what it
anything
is.
to say
Right now,
about the relationship?
are you taking on and look your section?
What do you say?
Well, right now,
Okay.
that's a really difficult question to answer because people don't seem to be serious these days. It's difficult, you know. So we're just hopeful. That's what I would say.
It
Hopeful.
depends on who's asking.
I know, right?
Hopeful. Yeah, that's what I would say. We're just hopeful. Hopeful.
So this was a comment. Nana Rafi said he sees you. So if you didn't see that, like he laughed. Patricia laughed. I see you.
I also
So,
see you.
You see me, see you.
Yeah, put down cry. Hey, boy.
okay. So Benedicta, Harry, Max, or Green, anything about relationships before we can?
See, there's this thing about you don't date whilst in school, it will affect your studies. See, what bon.
Make
It's
them
not the
come up
relationship
for
that
there.
will affect
Make
your
them
studies.
come up for there.
It's not the relationship that will affect your studies. What bon. Yes, sometimes the relationship can be demanding, like you have to do boyfriend duties when there's school activities. But what bon. Any relationship never say your education. So, but it's part of the school life balance. Like you do academics, you chill small, you have a relationship. Like it's fun. It's cool.
So Grenade, did you have a crush while you were in school?
I beg you, in the name of Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Hey,
so I'll leave Grenade.
why you
Grenade
running
has begged me in
away?
the name
What's
of
that?
Jesus. So I'll leave this. I'll
I
leave this.
see.
So
Ask
I think
everybody.
Maxwell is the relationship expert among
Oh
us. So
yeah, Maxwell is
Yeah,
the noted one.
so
Yeah.
Maxwell, tell us more.
oh, as everybody knows, me, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was interesting. Sometimes you take it serious, sometimes. But those the relationship there, Charlie, long stories, oh, plenty long stories. So,
We are
but then
fit.
at least you have fun the whole time. I'm for me, I haven't had any ex who is like, "Wow, blocking me," and I say, "We are still
Hey.
in contact all the time." So like, at least everybody had fun. Everybody thought it was a good time. We ended it when it ended, and then we moved on. So uh, some of them will end good, some of them will be tough, some of them, but they are all interesting anyway. If
Okay,
you get
thank.
a chance, go ahead and try it. Don't don't be shy. Don't be worried
What's the
about
worst that can happen?
grades. What's the worst thing that can happen? Your girlfriend, your ex girlfriend will get married on your classroom, and everybody look looking at you. That's the worst that could happen. Everybody will be asking about Ngozi. But then, Charlie, sometimes you work hard on. Ngozi was like how long? 1 year. When I came here, I was in a relationship like online kind of. The lady was
Long
in Ghana
distance.
for like, yeah, long distance for like 3 4 years, and a lot of energy and everything went in, like the usual relationship stuff. But it's all over now, and it's part of life.
I thought you were
I
going to marry that girl, though.
Charlie.
So can I ask a personal question?
Last, last,
Was it
Long
because of the
story.
long distance? It's
last,
a
Yeah,
last.
personal question. You
You
do not have
first.
to like answer, but is it because of the long distance?
yeah. Basically, I have stayed here for too long, and now actually I can't come back. So it basically ended just because of the long distance. That's all. I've stayed here for too long, and I
Last,
can't come
last. You
back.
go reach everybody.
Is it?
You go reach everybody. The broken hearts. You go
Charlie,
reach
they
everybody.
happen. They happen. We there, we move. No worries.
Okay,
I'm
so
all,
Harry, no, no, Maxwell,
yeah. I've
finish up.
moved, I've moved on. I'm in a nice new relationship. We'll
Hey,
see.
Maxwell, in with
Hey,
the
that's
Chinese.
a balaba.
No, not
Okay,
Chinese. Uh,
Hey.
okay,
Never.
we'll leave it there. We'll talk about it. Harry, you are next. So, Austin, what about Pilato? What do you want me to say to Pilato so you can tell me? So, Harry, tell us.
Well, me, uni relationships. I mean, you, Barbara, didn't like me, so
But Harry,
yeah,
now you're a
no.
cloud engineer. Oh. I'm
Eh,
available. You're called
I
engineer.
hear.
So yeah, and then like the amount you said it was interesting to me. So give us another try. Who knows?
Okay, cool. We'll do that.
Submit a formal
We'll do-
application to the email address.
Because I'm going to ask Benedicta. Benedicta has vanished.
But yeah, relationship in uni, like I don't know. I'm like most people were saying you don't have to date in uni and everything. That did not stop me though. So I really do not have much to say about relationships in uni because it was cool. As Maxwell said, it was fun. So yeah, that's
So
that. I
Harry, you
really
were
do not
dating
have.
and you were still chasing me. What are you saying right now?
No, not when I was dating, like in between. You see, like you date someone and then like you do not date the person anymore, and then you have someone in your like on site and everything. So like yeah, it's like that.
The painful one is getting a broken heart with the person you're not in a relationship with.
About Barbara, no Barbara. I think I was thinking about it, like how do we first like meet or something. I think probably it was because you see when we got into civil engineering, like they had this list, right?
Hmm.
And then my name was first, and then your
And
name
ours
was
was second,
second.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure, like maybe that's where I saw you from or something like that. And then we came to school, and then we saw each other and everything. We were like, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. You
So
didn't
Harry,
like
yours
me.
love at
She,
first
she
sight.
said she said I was too lazy to learn. She used to force iron as someone to learn all the time. I said I was she said I was too lazy to learn.
Someone, yeah, someone that guy. Someone can
Randy, I know your keys. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's that.
Okay, so Benedicta, please can you tell
Johnny,
us your relationship? Then we can call it a day. Is Benedicta there? Okay, so as we are waiting for Benedicta, I'd like to say a very big thank you to like the civil engineering students that helped us make this a success. So like when I planned on doing this, I spoke to, and it's so funny, not necessarily funny, but you know the thing about you want to help, but it's very difficult. Like I've been planning to do this for a long time. I tried to interact with the CISA people. Like I was just not really getting a feedback. So I actually had to go, as we talked about networking. So I had to talk to one of the lecturers to be like, hey, you know what? I want to organize this for the civil engineering students, but getting in touch with the CISA has been a bit hard. And the teacher gave me one of the contacts of the final year, and together he got some group of students to make this a success. And I would like to say thank you. So one of the things we mentioned, one of the one of the things we mentioned was
It's
the
true.
fact that volunteering is very important. So these are some of the things you could actually also put as your voluntary experience because we were made possible with your help. So I'd like to say a very big thank you. So Benedicta, like once you are done with your relationship, I'll answer the fact that I like men with body. So Benedicta, please explain
It's
your.
true. That one, we all know. We all know. Hmm.
Well, I didn't have any relationship, relationship in class. I didn't have any
Hey, so you're doing
boyfriend.
it out away.
Yes, I was doing it away and I got a broken heart.
loves me.
Oh
Serious
my
one.
god.
My heart was broken into pieces, I think in second year.
Wow.
Yeah. But it wasn't a
I brought
class
you
thing,
blue, but
so
you
at least
bounced
I
blue.
was safe. My secret was safe with me. That's the good thing about dating someone outside the class and outside the university. That's the only good
Hmm.
thing about it.
Hmm.
Made the share me husa, but I was totally broken. That's all I can say.
Okay, sorry. And the fact that I like men with body. So no, it's very like they used to tell me, but I didn't realize. But like most of the guys I used to hang with, they used. I think it was during my national service. That was when I realized there could be truth in that. So when I used to go to work, you know that gym,
Mojo.
I I think
Mojo
it,
J.
Mojo,
Mojo
Mojo.
was the one opposite this resident. It
Mojo.
was opposite a hostel, no?
Yeah.
Mojo, yeah. Mojo J.
Yeah. So anytime I used to pass there and the boys used to come out, I was so excited. Like I would just be like, it just really made my mood good. And at that place, the gutter, there was this gutter that was not really good.
Mojo J. Yeah.
But like when I realized that this was able to boost my mood, even though I used to use that road. So like if anybody has somebody with. But now I might Harry has money, so now maybe money is
Ah,
also a good motivation. So
A few dumbbells and the body will come. A few
oh
dumbbells.
nah, make you no worry about it. The money is enough. Trust me.
so
For start gym artist.
So yeah, does anybody have anything to say? If not, I also like to say thank you a lot to Civil 2016. Most of you like you came to make this really nice, and I would like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for making this a success. And maybe we'll do this more often. Let's see how our schedule will allow. But I really had a great time, and I'd like to say thank you. So if there are no words, we could say goodbye until we meet again. So does anybody have anything to say?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Patricia, I'm still keeping a scarf, so whenever I see you, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see you and take that scarf back.
Hey.
Okay. So thank you very much to everybody, and till we meet again.
All right.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye 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 bye.